welcome to the Wandering Isles. My name is Ken. I am your host for this evening, your DM. We're going to jump straight back in. Oh, look. Oh my god. We got a special visitor today. The druid is in the house. Bodhi is visiting. We are going to jump straight into it. We've got our main man busy doing our recap for today. Let's go.
Okay, that was fast. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Arcanum Chronicle News. My name is Peter Peppermint Putt, and I shall bring you the happenings of the week. Turning tides. Crescent Pearl's Coast Guard reported an unusual sighting of Dash Heightman swimming without clothes. We were told that he dipped his tippy toes into the water while being observed by a rather large quantity of women that were staring at his unhumanly shaped body. If this was a once-in-a-lifetime sighting, or perhaps a regular upcoming trend, is up for speculation. State of Slate. After a hard week of work, Mr. Slate might be more confident than ever. Insiders report that he might be able to turn into everything he can imagine. If this includes apples, is quite questionable. What the officials did confirm was an unusual shapeshift into a bull-like creature. If he used the toilet in this form or took a dookie in the Arcanum's garden is not known yet. Ghost of Toshitsugu. After a rather disturbing terrorist threat of a yet unknown faction, Hatsu caught home like a crybaby. The hard-acting martial artist got sent a bodyguard to prevent future threats and make Daddy feel more comfortable. The little prince also convinced Mr. Maleficum himself to let his bodyguard further investigate the incident. It is quite questionable what the Arcanum officials tried to achieve with this rather unconventional procedure. Black Moon. The Arcanum's Department of Astrology confirmed the sighting of the Blood Moon. The extraordinary event eclipsed in an unusual behavior of one of the students. Warrior Toshitsugu were spotted floating near the entrance of the Arcanum, mumbling a strange line over and over before he started to throw fireballs around him. If this is a late April Fool's joke, a serious threat, or if Slade was right with his suspicion about the served foods in the Arcanum, is what we will investigate in the next week's episode.
That'd be great, as if you all had a telestone to dial like fucking 911 or something. Nice, that was good. I haven't heard that voice in a minute. That was good. Let's bring it back.
Amazing.
That's my first time hearing that voice. That's fantastic.
That was a little bit of his Sir Winchester voice from the previous campaign. A little bit, not the same, but a little bit.
I love it.
He's in there. Schmidt. Yeah, so Wariel floats up into the air, and with that he casts an unknown level fireball at you. There was a discussion this week. Everyone was like, what level is it? I was like, could be any level. What are you boys doing?
Grabbing Dash and using him as a shield. Whoever stood next to me, I am dipping behind them as the blast comes out.
Heck yeah.
I'm dodging, ducking, diving, and dodging.
Unfortunately, this isn't dodgeball, so you get fucking nailed with it. What the rest of you doing?
Damn wrenches.
Because we had a long rest, it would be rude of me not to say silvery barbs.
I think that doesn't apply for this because it's a saving throw. It's not an attack roll. So
I know.
You hang on to that. You may just need it.
The silvery barbs was to make make Dash have to re-roll his save.
100%, yeah, 100%. Oh yeah.
It's at 100%. Taco Bear, what are you doing?
Probably waiting until I hear the screams of anguish and the sirens, ambulances.
You have your feet up on the couch. You're reading a book. You're just.
Well,
chilling.
I mean, I don't think he's quite that lazy, that comfortable. But yeah, he's in the middle of doing some science.
What I will say though, this is something I actually should have highlighted last week, and it occurred to me well after, unfortunately. Chicken does have a sudden response as he sits with you in the room. He stands up and he points towards the door, alert. Your familiarity with this kind of pose would be something that he would use to signify a threat. or that he doesn't know what's there. He is suddenly aware of something that isn't right. Much like Harley standing on my windowsill and barking, Chicken is preparing for some conflict.
Potentially another bad man to chop off heads, right? Well, for science, I guess. We're going to open this door and see what's going on.
As you do, you can hear through the hallway echoing that there is a sound of commotion down below. People are beginning to, I wouldn't say like scream and run, but there's definitely a sudden panic, and you can hear that echoing through. There's enough people down at the main entrance that are doing this. And it's not like your dorms are mega far from the main entrance. You go in, you go up the stairs, you take a left, and then you're going upstairs to the dorms, and that's it. So like you would hear this sound.
I half step it towards the thing.
Okay.
Not full run. I don't know what I'm running into just yet, but
Chicken's gonna go with you, staying focused on what's in front, but not running away from you, not running ahead. But staying alert. Hatsu, I would really like to know what you're doing in this situation.
So he kind of gets a flashback kind of thing, and he moves a little away from the crowd so he has some space. He's not panicking or whatever. He's going backwards, but he's keeping an eye on Borea. He's really hard focusing him.
Okay.
And he gets a little further back and he sits down in the sand, like his legs crossed. And he goes into in kind of a meditation state, but he's still focusing Boreal. And he's putting his fingers up, he's hard focusing, and he starts to pray. And he says, "Mother of light, creator of shadows, send me a bee for those who in need." And he repeats over and over and over, and he's hard focusing Boreal, and he's trying to get through.
Okay. A few things happen at once. The first fireball impacts, and I very specifically say the first. Things are about to happen very quickly. So I'd like you to have your sheets open. A few rolls are going to happen here. Everybody except Hatsu and Westland. I need a dexterity saving throw from you guys, please.
I got an 11.
Oh, that is really bad timing. Oh my god. Oh, wow.
No.
Holy shit.
Oh no.
Wow.
Guys, we have a barbecue.
PPK.
Okay.
That's a
That's
one
gonna
from
hurt.
Slate anyway, for anybody.
That is.
Yeah,
Oh,
also from
sorry.
Dash.
Of course. Yeah, that was a nat 1 from Dash for a total of 6, a nat 1 from Slate for a total of 4. That was a 9 from Eos and an 11 from Amadriana. All of which was not spectacular. I don't know if any of you have any reactions or inspirations or things that you would like to use in this moment, but I would advise.
Oh, I do have inspiration actually.
I'm gonna
Yes.
need my inspiration as well, please.
Yeah, I think that might be a good thing for everybody.
Okay, mark it off on your sheet, please.
Just,
Yeah, it's 23.
23 from Dash is much better. That's a good use of your
That's much
inspiration.
better. Yeah, I'll just as myself and Slate are tripping over each other, I'll just kind of launch
so
off
you
them.
just tripped me the second time is what you're saying. Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
exactly. Yeah. I don't have to outrun the fireball. I just have to outrun you.
Where do we go? So we got a 16 from Eos, 10 from Slate, 23 from Dash. Madrian, are you sticking with your 11, or did you want to reroll?
I don't have anything to reroll.
Okay.
Oh god. Want to hear boss music?
This is one of those rare times that I'm actually going to share my roll, because this is crazy. So for those of you that can't see, I got 4 1s on this roll of 8d6 for a total of 18. So Dash and Eos, you guys take 9, and the other 2 take 18 points of damage.
I'm out.
You're out already?
I'm
Okay.
also out.
It's been lovely to know you boys.
Okay. So,
I'm not quite out, but out.
got it. Immediately, staff and faculty are going to start coming out and dragging people back who have fallen. For those of you who can, please mark off that HP on your sheet for me. I get it here, a notification on the side. The second fireball is negated as Remington walks out and he raises his hand towards Boreal. Sorry, forgot his name for a second there. At this point, Westland, you would be coming down and around the corner, and you would see that there is not just 1 or 2 people down here. There are probably 16 or 17 people that are laying on the floor, that are being dragged back by faculty and teachers. You can definitely see fire on the surrounding areas because objects do catch fire from this. This was a disastrous moment. There was a lot of noise and stuff. Everybody at this point is running through the halls backwards and getting away from this as much as they can. Go ahead.
Can I see anyone down around me?
Probably one of your allies would be, yeah.
Yeah, so whoever's closest, I'll start helping to pull them away from the blast radius.
No problem. So yeah, you start tugging them back and moving them away from the blast radius. Remington is desperately trying to cast spells basically to counter what is happening here. Boreal's eyes are glowing red. Hatsu, you are in the midst of praying. The fireballs are going over you, or past you, but they are getting dismissed at the moment as much as can be. There are multiple teachers now that are I don't know what it would be called, but I guess I know there's a word for this or term for this, but it eludes me right now. But they're in emergency mode. They are basically like they're trying to keep the peace. They're trying to pull people out of this and figure out what's going on all at the same time. But this is a
Crisis response.
Crisis response. Thank you. They are in crisis response mode. Yeah, they're trying and get as much information and intel from this crazy situation as possible. This came out of nowhere. It's the second attack in effectively 2 days. There's a lot going on here, but they're doing good. They're not doing bad. They're pulling people back and trying to get help carrying people down towards the nurse's office to try and get some heals going here. Those of you, so who's down at the moment? I'm Adriana, Eos. You guys are down. Hatsu, you're up. You're okay. Slate, you're down. Okay, so I have Dash, Hatsu, and I have Westland on the board. I'm going to start with Dash. I'm going to go alphabetically here. Dash, what are you doing?
So I'm struggling. I'm burnt. I'm probably bleeding. Shell shocked. Ears are ringing.
Yeah.
So I'm literally whoever the first person I see. It's like again crisis response. Grabbing the first person I see near me and just pulling and dragging them away.
Theoretically, actually, because it's Foundry, we can roll a D3. So I'm just going to say roll a D3 for me. It should be /r space 1D3. We'll just do it that way. That might just be easier.
/r space 1D3. Incoming. 2.
2. So you grab Eos and you start pulling her away. She's the closest one to you.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, your shirt burnt off. Your muscles are glistening and glowing. There's like really the oil that you usually put on yourself has caught, and so like you look very heroic. This is amazing. Everybody else is doing normal stuff, but you're in it. Yeah. So while you're pulling Eos back, you've got a good grip on her. She's very thin and easy to carry. It's not like she's not Truckosaurus or anything like that. So it's a very easy process for you, even though your strength isn't what we would call phenomenal in the biz.
They're show muscles.
Yeah. They're athletic muscles. You get it from running mostly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can handle Eos. That's fine. Okay, so I will then go to...
I barely knew her. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
I will then go to Hatsu, please. Hatsu, what are you doing, my friend? You still praying and going through this, is it?
He's still playing, and he repeatedly goes with the same thing. Mother of light, creator of shadows, send me a bee for those who are in need. And as he is praying and focusing Boreal, he tries to, like, his memories run past like a bullet train. And he tries to grasp the moment where he saw this first, to kind of understand how it stopped last time.
Okay. So while you're going through your memories, can you make a history check for me? Actually, that would be very helpful to me here.
Yep. Huh, a 2?
A 2,
A
okay.
1, actually.
A 1? It's not a nat 1, right? No, just a... Okay, so you have a... Okay, you got a 2 with a -1. It's very difficult in this moment for you to recall what it is that actually happened at that time. Like, you're rattling your brain, you're going through this, looking for similarities. But yes, this has happened before, and this looks like that time. But what triggered it, what caused it, is hard to tell. Do you recall from your pack what the situation was at that time? Like, do you remember from your story?
I remember that there was a fight.
Okay. Then that is what Hatsu remembers. Whatever you've got right now from that is pretty much what you remember. I can't help you too much when you get a dirty one. It's a little bit tricky. But you're trying to recall this, and you're still saying these prayers. You're focused very hard on Boreal. Westland, at this point, Chicken is running over to Dash and is tugging on Eos's coat to try and help. Probably not helping that much, but Chicken wants to do something.
Helpful.
What are you doing?
Can I see Boreal?
Yeah, it's a tall doorway.
How high off the ground is he?
I don't know if I specified before, but in my head it's about 10 feet. It's not crazy. It's like, what's that movie? Was it James Gunn's Brightborn or something? Where the kid like floats up and is just above. Like, that's what I have in my head. It's just that kind of moment of like the kid rising up. That's what I see in my head. I think it was Brightborn.
Brightburn, I think.
Brightburn. Great movie.
I'm gonna try and grapple him. Bolt towards him, I think, because I'm behind him, right?
He's floating. He'd be facing you because he turned and faced the doorway, so he'd be facing you. He's about 10 foot up though, so do you have the capacity to reach that height? Is that a
10 feet? Like he's 10 feet above the ground?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think I have that kind of strength. Let's see here.
Are there alternative ways for you to do that using your character's sheet or features, perhaps?
There is actually.
As a DM, just so people are aware, I'm not super hardcore rule guy. Like, I do follow the rules, but I also have room for rule of cool. So if there are ways to adapt certain things to allow for this to help, I usually try and allow it.
It's not that he thinks, actively thinks to do this. He just simply ceases to be in the space that he is in.
Okay.
And appears, I think it's 30 feet?
Yeah, that should be easy from where you are. Yeah. It doesn't specify height, right? It's just an open space. So you're
just
kind
a distance, yeah.
I'll say you appear kind of above him. If your object is to grapple him, I would say you appear above him in the space above, because that would give you what you need, basically.
It's 30 feet to an unoccupied space. So I'd like to appear in an unoccupied space above him.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
And then fall on top of him.
Cool. I'm gonna get you to do a grapple check. So strength or athletics versus his strength or athletics. I know what his strength is, so I'm just gonna roll.
Oh.
Pancake him.
Oh, with a nat 1. Do you have like inspiration or something that you would like to use here? I don't know if you have something.
I think this is an inspiration moment, so I will use that.
Okay.
Athletics. Try that again.
Sorry, you got a 15. Yeah, you beat him. So you got a really low roll, but the nat 1 was just like lower, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, with this sort of bamf motion in my head, it's Nightcrawlery. Like you appear in this spot above him. You're not even really sure how you did it, but you grab onto Boreal. Boreal having no idea what has happened or how this can happen, that you just appeared above him. You have complete reign over this, so you drag him down with you. He can't fly. You've grappled him, so you both fall. For the purposes of this, I'll spare you the damage, but I'll say Boreal takes it. Yeah, so he takes damage. So you hit the ground with him. You are holding onto him and grappling. He is struggling though. That will suddenly change. Dash, you're done with EO, so I'm going to say that if you're still picking people up, I'll say you can go for Slate or Madrona or whichever you prefer, or you can roll for it.
Yeah, if I've seen what's happened with Weslin and Boreal, then I would try to help there. If I see Weslin struggling with Boreal, then I'll go and try literally just sit on Boreal, I guess, or pin an arm down or something.
Yeah, you hear the and as you do, you look up from Eos. You let her go softly. You don't like just drop her and her head hits the like marble or something, but you let her go softly. And Chicken just continues to tug, but obviously doesn't have that strength. But you can go with ease. You could make that. You don't need to actually use a dash action to do that. Of course, that action was named after you. You don't have to do that as an action or a bonus action. You'll make it in 40 feet. So
cool. So yeah, I'll dash on over to them and jump on top.
Cool. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to say that this classifies sort of as a help for you, Westland, so you're going to have advantage on the next check that you have to make for this, okay? Hatsu, how are you feeling about people dogpiling your brother?
Would she see that there is a change on Boreal?
Boreal's eyes would still be glowing red, I think.
I don't necessarily think that he would be angry, but he would be a little bit frightened that he will kill them. So he moves on with his prayer.
He continues praying. Okay. Westland, I'll give you advantage on this, but if you're trying to grapple still, I will need another grapple check from you here.
Will do.
Oh, rolled really good there.
I'm trying to murder our characters, but should we be rolling death saves?
Not at the moment. No, you're okay. Oh, theoretically, though, we did just do a round. 6 with advantage. Boreal is starting to break free from both you and Dash. You can tell that he started to muster up his strength, and he's moving you guys out of the way, if that makes sense. Should you be rolling death saves? Yeah, from Eos, Slate, and Madrona, I do need probably a death saving throw at this point, because we would be at that point. Thank you for reminding me, sorry.
I know Rory's cursing me, but...
No, I like Rory is in the past. Rory has also reminded me of these things. So, holy shit!
Oh
no!
That is, you guys are fucking crazy today.
What's happening?
Okay, so Eos with a nat 20, you are stabilized, and I think you're at 1 hit point. Slate and Amadriana, that counts as 2 fails with your nat 1s each.
It's actually a 3. I don't know why they're red. It was a rolled 3.
I rolled a 3 as well.
For some reason, it's come up as red.
Oh, you're right.
It was a nat 1, but it's not.
Oh, it's not a nat.
3.
It's not a nat. You're right. Actually, sorry.
The 3.
Yeah, Foundry is just misbehaving. I'm so sorry. So what it's actually telling you is a success or a fail. So it's a 19, which is not a critical success. So you're still unconscious. But the other 2 are fails with a 3. So because it's below 10, it usually only does the green and the red in Foundry for us specifically when we get natties. So that's why it threw me off. But no, it just means critical success and failure, not critical. I have to look into that.
First nat 20 is a death save.
It wasn't a nat 20 though, it was a nat 19, so it technically doesn't count. So it's still not your first. You still have to keep working on it. I'm so sorry, pal. It was just telling you that it was a success. Yes.
But I'm alive.
All their hopes were dashed.
Get out.
Can we kick him from the campaign? It might be too late.
Can we swap the dead thing?
No, we're only 7 episodes in. We can get rid of him.
Perfect. So sorry, that completely threw me with the pun. Okay, so all right, we're right. So we have 1 failure, 1 failure, and 1 success so far. So you will still have to roll again when we get around this process. Boreal begins to break free from Westland and Dash. At this point, I am jumping back to Dash. When we get past Westland's next turn, I'll go for the death saves again.
Cool. I'm going to take my face covering out and try to wrap it around Boreal's face.
What is the intention? Is it a distraction? Are you trying to suffocate him? Are you trying to what are you trying to muster?
I see the red eyes, and I assume that's a thing. So I'm literally just like.
Oh, you're blocking the vision. Got it.
Blocking the vision, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, you start to wrap that around his head. Hatsu, I'm gonna jump to you there.
He's still praying.
Still praying. Continuing the process.
He doesn't let loose. Yeah.
At this point, I'll let you do another history check if you want, though.
Oh yes.
Usually, I let people do 2 checks on a certain situation, so if you wanted to, you could.
Oh, a little better.
A little better with a 6.
6.
All you can recall is that last time this happened, there was a threatening situation, as you said. There was a fight when this happened before. This time, you're not aware of any situation that would have caused a fight or flight response from Boreal, no pun intended for our Owlin. But you're not sure why this is suddenly happening now. There's very little similarity between this event now and that event that happened in your past. But this is, yeah, like this is your memory of that, if that makes sense. Okay. Westland, I'll go to you then. Sorry.
All right, so Boreal's breaking free. Dash is trying to blind Boreal.
Yeah.
Wants to do try and continue to hold the grapple. Headbutt the guy. Headbutt the guy. That seems to be the right thing to do.
Okay.
Get out full on face to face. Oh.
Just do, I'll call it an unarmed strike, so you should have one on your sheet there.
Alright. Unarmed strike. Let's see what this does here.
Strange time to try and kiss him.
I Adriana wakes up and just shouts that across the thing.
Yeah.
Hot.
It should be in chat for you to roll there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not rolling. I clicked the button. Let's try that again. No, maybe it's because
if not, then just it's 1 plus your strength modifier anyway for the damage. What is the attack for you is a strength roll anyway, so just make a strength roll if you wouldn't have proficiency with this
You
anyway.
click the picture, not the word. I think it.
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
It might just be that there's no target.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's no target.
Sorry. 15 would hit anyway, so you'd be okay. Yeah, so you can hit him with a headbutt.
Yeah, hit him for a headbutt. Sure, that's a point of damage.
It's 1 point of damage, yeah. Plus the 4 he took from falling. He's not doing too great either. Dash, you're holding on to the wrap around sort of Boreal's head, and like Westland is kind of just like headbutting. It's all he can do because he's trying to hold on like for dear life here. As we come around, I'm gonna get death saves from you guys again. At this time we won't panic when it becomes red and green.
Unless it is a 1.
Unless it is a 1.
Ooh.
Second failure.
A success for Slate. So ES, I need 1 more from you as well, because it was a 19 last time.
Don't be a 1.
Well, it wasn't a 1, it was a 2 though. Maybe we should have specified a wider range there.
Oh.
Okay. At this point, the nurse will start running out anyway, so yeah, we need to just establish kind of a working order here. I'm gonna go through Dashatsu Westland again, and at that point then, towards the end of this, before your death saves, remind me, and I'll talk about what the faculty is doing, because at this point that would be happening. So Dash, go ahead.
Cool. So I have the... Do I have the face covering successfully around Boreal's eyes at the moment?
100%, yeah.
So cool. I'm holding that with these hands these hands. I only have 2 hands, so I'm holding out with 2 hands.
Those two.
And those 2, yeah. And wrapping my legs around his waist and just kind of full lean back.
Okay, I'll give you a grapple.
Jiu-jitsu style, trying to pull him.
Jiu-jitsu style. I'll give you advantage on this as well because you've kind of got him by the skull, so it's a little bit hard to resist that. So I'm going to give you kind of a grapple check here, and he rolled very poorly, but I'll give you advantage on yours.
Cool. Grapple checks remind me, is that Dex?
You can use athletics or acrobatics, whichever you prefer.
Acrobatics then. Advantage. So that's an 18.
Yeah, okay. With an 18, yeah, you very successfully have got him grappled now, and he's like struggling, but you've basically got his head stuck, so like it's a lot harder for him to resist the breaking out of that. Yeah.
So, and as I'm doing it, just kind of looking around, just gonna help.
Absolutely.
I'm on 1 HP, by the way, so I'm not doing great.
Oh, so I should headbutt you first. Okay, got it. Hatsu.
You could be doing worse.
There's a few people in the party doing a little bit worse here. Hatsu, my friend, are you continuing?
How far are they away?
I'll call it 10 feet. Because you were close. If I understand correctly, you moved up a little bit and stuff, and you sat down, and that's kind of why they went over.
Space, yeah.
You have about 10 foot, yeah.
The second Weslin headbutts my brother, he jumps up like a fucking Giselle.
Yeah.
And flies through the crowd.
Okay. There isn't much of a crowd anymore, but yeah, you go through it, yeah.
And he goes... He kind of... How can I say? He's kind of Naruto jumping.
Okay.
And he jumps up and gets out his sword and goes for his head. Straight away.
For who? Sorry, for Westland?
Westland, yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright. This isn't how I saw TPK coming, but
I just want to point out when Dave asked me about what was happening this week, I said, I don't know, but there could be some PvP. I was fucking like, speculating. I didn't realize it was actually going to happen.
Well, you set it up. 14. I don't know off the top of my head what your AC is, Weston. Was that hit?
Oh yeah, it's 12, I think.
12. Okay. Yeah, that hits. Oh, fucking hell.
11.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, you hit Westland. You go hard on him. I believe Westland's just unconscious now.
As he stroke his kind of face, I don't like.
It's not lethal.
Get the head off, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. In future, specify that
face,
before the attack, but that's cool. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, and with that, he kind of turns and tries to get a back fist on Dash.
Or you're just gonna knock everybody out. Okay. With an 11, I don't think you hit Dash, right?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So he would kind of like just pass him, because I would say he just miscalculated, because he's like he worries about his brother, and he would just stop, get the sword like right next to him, and just face Slate with like a stoic look that says, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, so Dash, right?
Dash, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Dash, you're holding on to Oriole, who is struggling, and Hatsu just like knocked Slate unconscious. Oh, sorry, knocked Westland unconscious, and now is staring at you directly.
I mean, it could be Slate for all we know.
That could be Slate. Like, this would be the greatest ploy of all time. Dash is dead like 2 weeks ago, and it's been Slate the whole time.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Hatsu, what the fuck are you doing?
I think we're having an issue at our camp there. Yeah, so you call out to Hatsu. Perfect. We'll get that fixed in a sec. So
Help him. He's not himself. Just as I'm still holding Boreal.
Okay.
Can he reply now or in his turn?
Yeah, for this situation, I'll say it's okay. Normally in combat, no, but no, yeah, this is okay.
He just looks at Dash and he says, I think you are not yourself. Let my brother go.
He's almost fucking killed everyone. What are you on about?
You don't harm my brother.
I'm not harming him. I'm saving him from himself.
He goes from like a straighten up stance to a little wider stance, and he widens the kazejoba over his head, and he doesn't talk anymore.
Okay. Westland, for you, I need a death save from you, please, if you don't mind. I say if you don't mind. Even if you mind, I need a death save from you, please.
Let's see here. It's like a death save specific button, is there?
If you have 0 HP on your character, it'll probably give you one, but if not, it's just a d20 anyway.
Stand by. I'll just roll a d20.
There you go. Now you should have a death save menu. There should be a little skull that appeared on your character now.
Blow your health, yeah.
Sorry, hold on. I'm having a little bit issue with the sheet. Okay, I see it.
Cool. Yeah, just click that and it'll do it for you. 14, so success. Cool. Okay, at this point, the teachers have come out. The nurse is just handing out these like tonics and stuff, and they've started going through people in the crowd that are just laying on the ground. I'm gonna say Eos gets healed. You can roll. Remind me, what's the normal health potion? It's 1d8, is it? Or 2d4 or something?
2d4 plus 2 for a standard health potion.
Thank you. So 2d4 plus 2. So just roll that for me there, Eos, if you don't mind. 7. So you can give yourself back 7 HP.
Hey!
Excellent. They're going to move forward and keep moving forward. So I'll be going down, but there's just so fast we can go. It'll probably be Madriana and Slate next turn, I would say. For the moment, though, I'm going to need a roll as we go back to Dash's turn, and then Eos, you'll be after Dash, because I'm just doing this name-wise, please.
Don't worry, gives me more time to plan.
Is Boreal still struggling?
Boreal would still be struggling, yeah.
Cool. I'll... Oh. I kind of have a couple of options in mind, and like one would really antagonize Hatsu, so I'm kind of want to do it, but also kind of don't. I'll slip the face covering down to just over the nose, so that the eyes are exposed. Are they still red?
Are they still red? They are still red. Yeah, they would still be red.
Cool. So I'll do that, and I'll maneuver in such a way that Boreal is between me and Hatsu.
Okay.
Look at those fucking eyes and tell me this is still your brother. Help me save him.
I'm not going to make you roll persuasion, but I'll leave it up to Busy on how he, as Hatsu, would take this information. But I won't make you roll persuasion for that because it's player v player here.
You would kind of, from his kind of posture and what you know from Hatsu, you would know that this is not the first time he would see this. And you would also recognize that he starts behaving like this since you guys actually attacked his brother.
Would there be any merit to what Kian is saying? He's trying to persuade Hatsu that he's not actually attacking your brother, nor is he hurting him.
That's why I'm trying to make it obvious that I'm showing that this is fabric that I'm using, and I'm just trying to hold him. I'm not trying to harm him. That's the intention of the move, really.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So it wouldn't change something on his stance on the whole situation, because he just feels his brother is threatened again.
Okay.
So yeah, that's also why I'm careful to move Boreal between myself and Hatsu, because I'm fucked. I'm not getting in a fight with this guy right now.
Okay. At the end of that, I'll say that the teachers are moving with the potions and tonics. So Slate and Amadriana, can you guys roll TT4 plus 2? Wessel, and I still need a death save from you, if that's okay.
No problem.
Okay, it's another success. Perfect. 3 from Ryan. Okay, you gained 3 HP.
7.
Oh, you did it twice. Sorry, so 7.
So it's 9.
I realized
Yeah,
you did it twice.
it didn't roll twice like it should have done.
2d4 plus 2, was it?
2d4 plus
Yeah.
2, yeah, please. Thank you. So 5. Okay. So you're both awake now. Westlin is still unconscious. Dash, you're sitting on 1 HP. Eos, you can stand up now. Hatsu, you're talking. So, all right. I'm gonna do this by name again, but I'll start with Amadriana this time. You look across. I'll say this once, but basically, all of you who just woke up, this is what you see. You look across and you see Hatsu holding a sword in a stance, preparing to strike at Dash. You see Dash holding on to Boreal. Boreal is struggling with glowing eyes, and Westlin is very much so unconscious in a state next to Boreal.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to stand up, get as far to them as I can, which is going to be, 15 feet. So I'm guessing I'm not near enough to him.
Not quite, no. You'd be about 10 feet away.
And I'm going to throw my dagger at Hatsu.
Throw dagger at Hatsu. Okay. Yeah, so you can use your dexterity for that, I believe, is a thrown item. So you can do that with your dex.
So what, just a dex check or use a
I
dagger
think you can add your
attack?
proficiency. If I remember correctly, as a rogue, you're proficient with daggers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just do my dagger attack? Okay.
Yeah, using... oh, it should just be... yeah, that's right.
So that's a 17?
17, I think, hits Hatsu.
Yep.
Okay. So roll for damage.
That'll be 5 points.
Okay, so Hatsu, just mark 5 off your sheet for me, please. So Hatsu, you get caught by surprise here because you were facing Dash, but then suddenly you get this piercing sensation in your back. Dash, it's your turn.
Sorry, can I use my bonus action as well?
Oh, sorry, yeah, please, sorry.
Well, then I'll dash and get up to Hatsu if I can.
Okay, yeah, you run up to Hatsu then, yeah. Dash, it's your turn.
What's Remington doing right now?
It's a good question. At this moment, I'd say he would be approaching... oh, would he want to help the students? Give me one sec.
That's a good point by Carrick, actually. Would there be surprise attack? Sneak attack?
Technically engaged
Nope.
with...
But he'd
Not
be...
against Hatsu.
No, I don't think so, because he is surprised in the sense that, like, he wasn't expecting it to come from behind, but we don't use flanking. And he wouldn't be within 5 foot. Well, is he in 5 foot of Dash, though? Because he's preparing to strike, so...
I help you with the decision making.
Feet.
Yeah, he's got
Oh,
something to...
yeah, sorry, he has... That's right,
That's
you have
fair.
alerts, so you can't actually be surprised. Right, thank you. That helps.
That's cool.
So, okay. Sorry, Dash, I believe it's... is it you at the moment? Did we do?
Yeah, I was just trying to determine what Remington is doing, because like as I'm doing this,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
looking around, because like I'm not all that familiar with magic users, so this is uncharted territory. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Actually, would it be worth... See, I key in no verbal somatic components. I don't know if Dash would.
Does he have any
Do you know
experience with
enough to
magic?
keep her?
Probably not, right?
Not a whole lot. He knows it exists. I would say probably not. So yeah, just keep. Well, I think coincidentally, from where I actually said to have it, he's kind of covering the mouth anyway, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually doesn't matter too much. But what I'm going to try to do is start shuffling backwards, making sure to keep Boreal between myself and Hatsu, and
I will just jump in very quickly, just in case it impacts, because I will answer your question about Remington. So just in case it impacts what you want to do before you say any actions you want to take here. I think he's going to try and intervene, but on Hatsu first. He's familiar with customs, traditions. He's also familiar with family. So I think seeing what Hatsu's doing, he understands where Hatsu's coming from. Not that he condones student-on-student violence, but that he would probably be trying to talk to Hatsu first while you're doing that. I'll get to him after Westland then, but he's going to be approaching Hatsu, so if you want to know what he's doing, that's
cool. That's perfect. So I'm kind of moving backwards towards the direction Remington is coming from, and kind of keeping Boreal there as much as I can, and just locking eyes with Hatsu and just repeating, I'm not trying to hurt him, I'm not trying to hurt him.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to jump to Eos then.
Yeah. Eos, obviously, looking at the situation, a little bit of flashback in her brain for situations you may have been previously. Her voice is gonna boom 3 times as loud as normal for a minute, and she's gonna shout and scream, "Wakey, wakey, wakey, wakey!" towards Boreal.
That's
fucking terrifying.
Holy shit. Make a persuasion check, please. I'll give you advantage because that was horrifying.
Can I make a Constitution save to not shit myself from that?
Not shitting yourself in free action, sorry.
All right, let's go.
18. Eos and Dash would notice a significant change in Boreal's eyes as the red begins to dim. It's not gone, but it is certainly fading back. Yeah, that's where we'd be at. I can't explain more than that right now. Hatsu, you just got stung in the back. Madriana's standing next to you. Westland's unconscious. Dash is still saying, I'm not trying to hurt him, I'm trying to help him. And Remington is approaching you, like hands up. He's not trying to like grab you or something. Like he's approaching you slowly with his hands up. What would you like to do?
Oof. He's
Good way of
not
putting it.
in. Let's phrase it that way. He is in full combat mode. He wouldn't think he would react. And as he got hit by a knife, he would immediately turn in that direction and strike.
It was a thrown dagger, so yeah. But at the same time, you did walk up to him.
No, that's fair. I know that.
Yeah,
stood there.
I would say that, yeah, you can make the strike out of Madriana, but I don't 100% know if you would know she threw the dagger. 'Cause she threw
I
it then
wouldn't.
around, so-
No, wait. Let's phrase it that way.
Okay.
He was aware of the dagger. He got hit by it. He would turn around and strike whoever is behind him,
Okay. So
regardless.
Then make an attack roll against Madriana's AC.
No,
What was it, an 11?
it was 11. Yeah.
11 doesn't hit though.
Okay, so he twists around, gets the sword through, and as he figures that he didn't hit, his right hand does let loose of the sword. He kind of gets in a forward motion and tries to hit her face with the outside of his hand.
That was a bonus action, yeah, for the... Yep, go ahead.
So I'm mad at Hatsu
No.
right now, but that's such a cool move.
Yeah, I
Nope.
mean, there's a...
And Madriana was expecting some retaliation, so she blocks both shots.
Yeah, 12 doesn't hit. Perfect. Yeah, okay, so I'll go to Slate, who is now awakening and watching all of this chaos.
So what I've seen is the last couple of seconds, I presume, because I was revived. So I'm seeing Hatsu and Amadriana fighting. I'm seeing Dash holding Boreal. Yeah. And hearing loud shouting from Eos, and Weslin's currently on the ground. So what I would do is, I'm currently about 15 feet away, 20 feet away? I don't know how far away I am.
I would say about that range, same as Eos, like kind of 15, 20 feet away. Yeah.
So he has that moment where, Slate sees Weslin, goes to take one step forward, and you can see him thinking, being like, no, that's maybe not the best way. Goes to run towards the combat, and it's like, no, maybe not that either. It's kind of like, will I, won't I, will I, won't I? And then I'm gonna draw my sword, go straight for Hatsu, and butt first, just straight in with the butt, just to non-lethal, just to hit him and knock him back, I think.
Okay, go for it then. Yeah, so just make your attack roll, non-lethal attack. Yeah. 20 would hit. Yeah, dirty 20.
Yeah.
Dirty 20 would hit. Yeah.
8 damage.
And Hatsu sleep.
So with that, then you just knock him unconscious, removing him from the board, pretty much completely.
As my bonus action and talking action, I look towards Dash, look towards Amadriana, and then I look towards my bag, and I'm like, am I getting the tools? What are we doing?
While you're going through all of this, basically how this has all sort of gone down is he struck at Westland. Dash is crawling away and begging. Eos just shouts wakey wakey across the board. You're fucking stunned as shit. Hatsu gets a dagger in the back. He turns, he swings at Amadriana twice, once with his sword and once with his fist as a follow-up, and Amadriana dodges both. In that moment, you just clock Hatsu in the back of the head, and just he's out like a light. Hatsu's unconscious. Yeah, you just call out to the group. At that point, then, Westland, I need a save from you as well. Perfect. So you're now stable. What that means is just you no longer have to make your death saves. You're still unconscious, but you're not bleeding out. So you're in a stable position. So for the moment, no more death saves or anything like that. But you're not awake either. At this point, Chicken would be running over and would be nudging on Westland's face and licking him and trying to get any reaction, but there's no response from Westland. Remington looks around with kind of shock as the nurse is bringing more people and he's going to go over and get a tonic from her and go towards Westland. That would be the NPCs. Amadriana.
So the first thing I'm doing is tying up Hatsu, hog style, and taking his sword away.
Okay. Yeah, so you take a rope out of your bag. You just tie Hatsu up. Every student who goes to school has 50 foot of rope in their backpack. So you tie up Hatsu, yeah.
Yeah, tie him up, take his sword so that I have full control of it.
Perfect, okay. Dash, what's up?
Is anyone gonna help me with the fucker that cast the fireball?
Little busy here.
That's a good pun. As you tie up busy. Yeah.
Is Boreal still struggling? I know the eyes have dimmed a bit.
Eyes have dimmed a bit. He's more or less falling unconscious at the moment, so the struggle is weaker. You're just holding on to him. There's no resistance to escape.
Because I will, after I've shouted that, I'll speak to Boreal. Like, are you with us? Are you back?
There would be no response.
So I'll just keep holding on.
You just choke holding him. It's just he's dying, and you're like, "Are you good?" He's like,
"Why aren't you breathing, you idiot?"
He didn't tap. He's still going.
Yeah, he didn't tap out. Eos, you're up.
Yep. And while she's still shouting "wakey, wakey" with 3 times booming voice, she's gonna cause a minor earthquake.
As you do, using thaumaturgy. Got it. You guys feel a very faint tremor in the ground. It's a cantrip. It's not crazy, but You feel like a faint tremor in the ground as she boomingly says "wakey wakey."
Just to quote Weslin, what?
Hatsu, you don't need to make a save or anything. You're unconscious, so Slate.
Again, I look at Weslin further away, look at Adriana, look at everybody. Boreal, shrug, back of the sword, same thing again.
Who are you clocking?
Boreal, exactly
Boreal,
the same
sorry,
thing I did
sorry,
to Hatsu.
Boreal.
I look around, see what's going on, back of the sword, same thing.
Okay. You have advantage on this because he is currently grappled.
That's a nat 20.
That is a nat 20. Well, it hits. No
Critical
problem.
knockout.
Yeah, you critically knock him out. Like, you're just like, yeah, you just look over and Dash is just like, you don't roll damage because it's just an unconscious. Yeah. So basically, you literally just look at Dash, like who's like calling for help and like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then you knock him out. Like, man, a lot of 20s and 1s. So, Westland, at this point, then as we get to your turn, they're going to try and heal you. So I just need 2d4 plus 2 when you're ready.
All right.
As Remington kneels down and pours a tonic into Westland's mouth. Oh wow, maxed it with a 10. Hell yeah. So you regain basically all your HP as far as I know. You begin to waken. Those of you who can see Westland, where Hatsu slashed kind of across the chest, we'll say, there's a new blue tattoo forming across the scar as he heals. And from it branches out more tattoos. So the tattoos begin to grow and change with his body. Those tattoos that he has that already were cut by the scar, they are fixed as well. So they are repairing, whereas his body, the scar heals slowly, the tattoos heal almost instantly as he awakens. At this point, I'm pretty sure we can take us out of initiative kind of turn order here. We're not really in initiative, but out of turn order, and you guys can just kind of talk if you wish.
So as Boreal goes unconscious, I'm just going to release and just... Thanks, Slate.
Slate knocks Dash unconscious.
Fuck.
I was thinking about that, genuinely.
I'll just like let my head hit the floor and just I will lie there, eyes closed. Does anyone have water? I'm fucking burning.
Or a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
While the ground is still shaking and Wakey Wakey's still been shouted at by Eo, she's going to look directly at Boreal's face. What does she see?
He's unconscious, so his eyes are closed, and he's just out cold.
Okay, tremor stop.
A little
Stop
bit of drool.
shouting. Good.
Can his head turn like 360 degrees?
It can, but only willingly.
Oh crap! Yeah, I was gonna say you can't break his neck because it just keeps going round.
You break his neck, and he turns around and he looks at you.
That's a horrifying image.
Yeah. The beach is slowly being cleaned up by staff. People are being taken down to medbay. The nurse, Martin, would come over to you guys and would ask if any of you need to go to the nurse's office. I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, the clinic.
I'm just gonna look almost sarcastically at my 3rd degree burns and just go, no.
Very well.
I'm
And she
fine.
walks off. She just takes that as a serious. She's just completely gone.
What the fuck is this school?
You said Remington was near us, right? He was walking up towards Hatsu.
No, Westland. He went to Westland to get him a potion. That's why Westland's awake.
Okay.
He was going to Hatsu. Hatsu got knocked unconscious. He got a potion, went straight back to Westland and just healed him.
Remington, we need a cell for Hatsu and Boreal.
He nods and he calls over the janitor, who would come over, but he'll be able to help because he's quite strong. And he picks up Hatsu over one shoulder and Boreal over the other and leads them down a hallway. I don't know if any of you follow.
And Adriana would be, just in case either of them wake up ready to just smash him in the face again.
Slate is going to turn into the janitor, same thing as before, except he's going to hold the sword by the tip of the blade so it's backwards with the hilt there, put it over his shoulder and walk behind, you know?
Okay. That's very confusing. Excuse me. That's a very confusing sight for anybody who sees it, but, you know, that's fine. The rest of you are alert and awake, except for Hatsu and Boreal at the moment, who are being taken to the cell. What's happening?
Gonna help Dash up.
Thanks, yes. What the fuck is going on?
Boreal clearly awoken.
Awoken? That doesn't sound good.
Dash, one of the teachers comes up and hands you a tonic. You may roll your 2d4 plus 2, please.
2d4 plus 2.
Six. Okay, so you can add 6 HP to yourself. You're not quite dead anymore, but the wounds don't quite heal either. So, like, you're kind of like, you have burn marks, but they are slowly healing. It just takes time for that to fully heal for you.
I just kind of hold it confused at first and just then drink it, and as I feel it getting better, I'm just like,
if you're looking at it, the tonic
What is
has because you just mentioned that the tonic has the Omega logo on it.
cool. Gotta take note of that, and then just kind of, with kind of shock and like flex the neck kind of thing. Do you always feel it going through like your first
You
morning
flex your
coffee? You're just
muscles
like,
for everybody around, and you rub oil back on yourself. Yeah.
yeah, just take out my baby oil and just yeah. So anyway, yes.
I just realised as well, because he was deep and crisp and even, that made him DoorDash.
DoorDash. Oh yeah.
Oh,
What does what does awoken me? Everything was on fire. You died?
No. Nearly.
I don't understand. Why was he floating? Why were his eyes red? Why did he try to kill us? And why the fuck did Hatsu turn on us just like that?
I know he's fairly capable.
We knew that. We
But he has a
could
problem.
have taken him if we weren't all fucking blown up. I mean, you think you know a guy, you think you can trust him, and they fucking turn around and try to stab you. Are you okay?
Fine.
You were.
Who saved me?
I pulled you away.
Dash is like, I am the hero of this story. I took you through the flames by my hands and dragged you
There was
across the scorched
explosions.
earth.
There was orphans. there was puppies.
But I
I didn't miss
chose
that line. He was just wraps her arms around you and hugs you tight. Thank you.
Oh, that. I'll just kind of. It's almost all you know. Kind of. It's been a lot, so I'll just fucking lean into it. Thanks, Eos. I kind of needed that.
Good. Is there anyone else dead?
Slate was
Did you say,
down.
is everyone else dead?
I don't think they're
Anyone?
dead.
Oh,
Slate was unconscious. Adriana was down. Hatsu fucking slashed Weslin, but Weslin's back up and with a new tattoo.
it's pretty badass that too.
Is Weslin still here? Did you follow?
Weslin is still slowly getting up. Looks like he's maybe another year or two older than he was. Grim.
Chicken is helping you to your feet as well, like and is super happy, like doing little prances that you're awake. Like,
Yeah, yes. Will you help me with Weslin? I'll just go over and
Yep.
help Weslin up. Are you Weslin alive?
The owl man is a bad witch.
Yes. Just kind of put one hand on your chest just to kind of make sure you're okay. Same dream?
Don't know. But this place is full of the witch. This place is bad. This place is not safe.
Yeah, agreed. I thought it was safe, but it is scary. You can do magic?
No.
You disappeared and you appeared up there.
You can do much things in a dream. Dream is not real.
Well, even so, you were very brave.
And old.
And older than I remember.
There is not much more time in this dream.
Huh. I was gonna look at Eos for any recognition of what he's talking about.
No idea, but I gotta check Kentucky. She just kind of like walks very briskly towards the stables.
The stables are surrounded by quicksand, and
God damn
you're
it.
fine. You're fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Weslin, beer?
I will need a beer.
Shall we go to the room? Have a beer?
I want to show you a thing in the room.
Okay.
I'll just very unceremoniously begin shuffling back. Even though I'm fully back to full health, there still is a slight stagger in the walk. He makes his way back to the room.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Okay, you guys go back to the room. The rest of you who are on the beach, what are you doing? Are you staying here, or are you... so Eos has gone to check on Ducky, so it's kind of just... I think just Slate by himself now, is that right? Oh no, you went
Slate
with
and
the other two.
Adriana.
Right, so
Yeah,
nobody's
Slate
in
and
the beach,
Adriana
sorry.
have gone, to the cells or wherever.
Well, then I guess we got to go to the cells. So as you guys make your way into the cells, there are holding cells and they are warded. There are sigils all across the floor, across the walls, across the ceiling. Hatsu is placed in one and Boreal is placed in one beside him. The doors are locked for the moment. And any weapons, items, backpack, any of that stuff, besides just base clothing, is removed from both of them and put into two separate boxes. One marked Boreal and one marked Hatsu. They're still unconscious for the moment. What do the two of you in the cell want to do in terms of Slate and Adriana?
I don't want to go in the cell. I was just making sure that they got put in the cell.
You're not in the cells
take my robe
specifically,
back.
but you're in the, we'll call it the prison area, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like outside the cell, you're not locked in with them.
Did Remington follow us as well, or was it just the janitor?
He would still be on the beach, so it would have just been the janitor Curtin who would have done it, yeah.
I don't know what your protocols are here, but it seems like these two are far too much of a danger to the students.
Curtin's gonna nod and say, it's not my place to say. I'm going to get back out there and help the students and help the faculty. But this is a discussion that needs to be had with Remington. This is his place, not ours, to talk about. whatever decisions he makes, we will trust. But personally, maybe I agree. He walks out into the hallway.
I'm just really taking my time to look at everything I can in the cell area, making mental note of layouts, anything I can think of, glyphs, markings, trying to figure out what is this place, how strong is it, how good it is, what's the fail safes, trying to figure out what anything could mean, doors, locks, windows, walls, buttons, anything. Just trying to drink it all in.
Make an investigation check for me, please.
Eight.
Can you also make a history check for me, please? 3? You see a lot of things, a lot of symbols, a lot of sigils, a lot of different wordings here. Physical buttons, keys, levers. There's a lot of stuff here that are used in this space. However, there's something gnawing at the back of your mind that says that this looks awful familiar, but you cannot place what or why.
I was going to say, with that feeling, I'm imagining that because it's a prison, I'm assuming that it's not very, or cell area, whatever, it's not very welcoming looking. I'd imagine it's drab, dreary, and it's functional over anything else. And getting that feeling that something's off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm going to slowly drop my form and just start walking backwards, but facing into the cells, and I'm gonna take on a kind of a different look than I've had before. While people have seen me looking kind of plain but sickly, in this instance, if anybody's seen The Machinist, you're talking about that really, really worn down, really thin, really gaunt, but yet fit and not muscly in a buff kind of way, in a very lean type of way, like that's all there is holding them together type of thing. And just going to start walking backwards and walking away, and just keeping an eye on Madriana, like in a are we heading kind of thing, and just walk backwards.
Okay.
Is it safe to say at this point that Madriana would have worked out that she can kind of tell what state Slate's in by what form he takes? Like when he's feeling bold and brash and confident, he seems to become Dash or the Minotaur or one of the others, but then he seems to always revert back into what we'd say would be standard Slate, but then this seems that much further of a form further than that, towards the opposite end of the scale.
Yeah, I think you've spent enough days, weeks, hours, nights in close proximity in the living quarters, etc., that you've seen highs, lows, and all the in-betweens. So I think it's reasonable to say that he, as people say, they wear their heart on his sleeve, and his emotions, etc., are visible, but they're more visible than others sometimes. So in this instance, yeah, something like that.
Okay, but in that case, you'll definitely stop Slate. What's wrong? What have you found?
He's just gonna start scratching his head, like he starts getting really warm, feeling really uncomfortable, getting a mad itch type of thing, and just feeling really visibly uncomfortable. And he's just gonna say, I don't like it down here. I don't like it down here at all. And just continue moving slowly away, keeping his eyes on everything down there, and say, we should probably check on the others. I think Weslin was still down. They're fine here for now.
Can I have a look around the room to see if there's anything particular that might have spooked him? Or is it like just whether it's the cells or what?
I'm not going to make you do a check, but I would say you noticed that he was trying to investigate every aspect of the cell, because you didn't make that hidden, right, Richard? You were just like looking at everything, doing everything.
No,
right?
clearly you would have seen him like looking at the ceiling, like looking at every nook and cranny of the walls, following the cracks, looking at the stones, looking at everything, but really slowly, methodically, drinking everything in. He might as well have been taking notes. You could have seen it. He was doing it so clearly, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just like do a quick scan in the same way that I saw where he went to see if there was like something that triggered it as he was looking around? Like I'm trying to ascertain whether it's the room in general or whether something clicked, you know.
You can make an investigation check, but what I'll do is defer to Richard on this. So based on the roll, you can disclose what you feel is comfortable for you based on what just happened. Yeah.
Okay. Investigation roll. That'd be a 21.
I would say the overarching thing that's different with this room than any other room that you've seen or been in with Slate at the same time is, you know, when you paint a room, you talk about painting it with dark colors and you paint the ceiling, it feels oppressive. It feels like it's coming in on you. This place is not meant to feel spacious. It's not meant to feel welcoming. And that feeling of oppression, when you look around the whole place, it's a general vibe, it's a general picture. And I'd say the takeaway would be that oppressive small space, that kind of feeling of the room pressing in and feeling a bit, this is a bit horrible in here, I don't really like it. And, you know, that's, the light is low, that kind of stuff. It just doesn't, it's not appealing in any way. There's nothing that sticks out specifically like a specific item, but it's that general feeling that it's just a really uncomfortable, oppressive space.
Okay. Then I'll start heading out. Keeping an eye on Slate, not like being worried about them in the sense of like them not being like, I don't know, like mentally strong enough or like whether they're going to attack or anything like that. It's more looking out for Slate, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
But without making it obvious, if that makes sense.
As you both walk down the corridor, what you do take in is that there's a lot of people walking past who look injured, or they're carrying people who are unconscious. There's people with burn marks and dirt all over their faces. Robes are burnt. Like, this is a scene. If this was like a Scorsese film, it would be a super slow-mo walk down this corridor of people who are just fucked up. Like, just really, really crazy. It's hard not to feel for everybody in this situation because it's a lot. This is not just in itself a crazy situation, but it's the second one you've been through in the span of no time really at all. It's difficult to process it all because there's so much to process. So taking all of this in is just, it's a lot. Eos, Ducky is doing great. Had no idea what was happening. There's a box of carrots there. You just give her a carrot and she's super, super happy about it.
Oh yeah.
Slobbers
There's a small thing I'd like to do, if I may.
Yeah, of course, sorry.
With all the injured people coming past us, Slate is going to semi-perk up, as in straighten up a little bit, and he stands into the side like with his back against the wall to get out of the way. But I'd like to survey the people's injuries, not their faces, not who they are. And what I'm thinking is, you know, we've all heard, even people who don't have any medical training, that, you know, there's certain injuries that quieter people are more vulnerable than those that are screaming and shouting about my leg, my arm, whatever. So I'd like to survey the crowd and look for somebody that I think looks visibly injured but is either being helped by somebody else or is overly quiet. And I'd like to just automatically fold into the crowd. Like if you see somebody fall, like a toddler, or you see somebody, you know, in a wheelchair that needs help, you immediately go to someone you think is vulnerable and you go, look, they need help. And you don't think about it, you just do. So immediately I just like to quickly survey the crowd, and then look for the most injured person and just fold in with them and continue with them towards the infirmary.
Cool, yeah.
And then I'm just going to turn to Adriana and say, Remington, the nurse and a couple of others were out the front. I'm sure by now Weslin's okay. These people need help. I'm going to help them. And then just do that.
I shall stay by your side.
As you both enter the infirmary, the one thing you would notice is that it is significantly larger than it once was. There are many more beds. Much in the way of your bedrooms being what you need when you need it, this space is too. And it is responding to a significant amount of casualties in one go. Casualties is a strong word, but injured. Yeah, casualties.
I'm going to use my... increased ability of speed that I have to essentially ferry stuff to the nurses and or helpers as they need it from where to where.
No worries. So while you're doing that and while you guys are working away, I want to go back to Eos for a moment there because you got cut off there. I apologize. You're giving Ducky a carrot and everything seems to be okay in the stables. Nothing bad happened here.
Perfect. Once that's established and Ducky looks good, Eos takes a moment, deep breath, head back, and check in with the boys.
Okay. I would say the infirmary is not a hard thing to spot, as it is just down the main corridor. So whereas you could turn left to go up to your set of dorms, or turn right to go to the other set of dorms, or up and up and up, you can keep going forward. The infirmary is there, the cells are there, Remington's office is down there. Like, that's all down the main corridor, library and everything as well. So when you make your way towards the infirmary, you would regroup with Adriana and Slate, who are moving as much as they can to help people.
Okay, I'm gonna head to the cell. I sit outside Hatsu's cell.
Okay. You lean down against the cell and Hatsu's in there, but he's unconscious. Matching your 1,000-yard stare would be those who are walking by and who you walk past all have that same stare of like disbelief, processing, sadness, fear, frustration, like a lot of things on people's faces at the moment. Panic, concern. You stare out into the corridor because his face is away from the cell. You stare out into the corridor and you wait. Dash, Wesley. You make your way up to the room. What is it that you want to do there?
Beer.
No problem. There is beer.
Heavy drink. Although Wes will pause at the plate and lay his hands on the plate just to test something else here for a second. This thing can summon any food and beverage, right? That's how we've seen this thing function.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to will it to produce the beverages I vaguely remember drinking a while back. Not here in this place, but in a different dream. See if I can manifest it here.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. Like, for example, one thing you focus on is a dish that your mother would have been very proficient at making. She would have loved making this dish for you guys, and it smells the same, it tastes the same. You can bring like any kind of food or craving like to life through this, yeah. So with ease you make drinks and food and whatever you want through this, yeah.
It's exotic. It's a wine of sorts. Very dark and rich, with a very unusual floral scent. And with that in his hand, he points to the stain on the wall. And he says, dreams are strange in the time that they dwell in your mind. Time is not a thing that we can feel. While we are in the dream, it only fades when we wake. In this place, it does not act like it should, like I know.
How do you know when you're about to wake?
The ink goes black. The sky is cold. And the sun sets.
On that cue, Dash, you would definitely notice a difference in the color of Westland's tattoos since he came here. Recalling that when he went through the labyrinthian experience you all went through and emerged much older, the tattoos were darker. That is something that was identified at that time as well. This would be something you're aware of. Yeah, they are a darker shade of blue than they were when he first joined.
The warm times have passed. They have left us. I did not see them in this place. This place is full of the witch. The witch is the one who broke the sky and made the earth shake, who burned the fields and brought all men to their knees.
Did you see the witch in a previous dream?
Each dream there are a witch. Can't remember all of the things. There are just clouds. But in this place now, while I am in this dream, things stand still. I'll point again to the stain.
Just to clarify, that's the blood stain from the assassins.
Yes. That
We can
spray of blood from the beheading took place.
we can clean.
There's no point.
This is a bad dream.
This is a strange dream.
Dash just kind of sit with the beer in his hand, lean back, head against the back of the couch. Tell me about your favorite dream.
I was a cloud. I think I was a cloud. There was no war. Only wind and rain. And the warm times were without end.
You were a cloud. You rained on the ground?
On all things.
So, to other people in that dream, you blocked their warm times.
Don't know.
But it was only temporary.
I could not see them.
Cloud will move, the cold will move.
This cold time is fast to come. In this dream, And in this stream, I am not a cloud.
No. But I guess there are clouds in every dream. Are you scared?
We are not safe here. Keep
No.
your skin safe. I will sleep in the woods. If you need me, I will be there.
Is it safe in the woods?
There is a force there that keeps all safe. But for now, we must drink. It will help us.
Okay. If you'll excuse me for a few minutes, I must check on a friend. He's got to stand up quickly. Just got a sudden realization he hasn't seen Lissa. He's going to put his beard down, walk out the door, and head towards.
Grab his baby oil.
Grab his baby oil. Yeah. What if you grab it? He always has it.
Oh, I mean the big bottle, not the not the emergency
Oh,
to go
yeah,
bottle.
yeah,
I mean the actual.
People think it's sanitizer, but it's baby oil.
It's just him lathering up at all times. Yeah. I don't know how
Something
this
singing the
story
whole
of
time,
Dash
saying
came
that.
out, but I don't want it to go away.
Beach dash.
Yeah, I like Beach Dash. Yeah.
Dash in the middle of like a major BBEG fight. Just wait. Okay, now go.
Lathering is
And
a
they
free
cast
action.
fireball.
Yeah.
Just burn.
Dash, what do? I beach.
Beach.
Oh no, is Dash becoming Ken?
Oh no.
Oh no.
You go upstairs to Lissa's room, and you knock on the door, and it opens slightly. You look in to find an empty space, no furniture, nothing. It looks like a room when you arrived in your common room. That's what it looks like. No rooms attached or anything.
Is there any feathers, any signs that she was here?
Yeah, I'll say in the middle of the room would be a small black feather.
I'll pick it up and I'll put it in my pocket. Is there a window in her room?
There's no room anymore because she's not there.
Also, it's just like
It's the
warehouse.
common area. Yeah, it's the common area in its default state, the same as when you guys walked in, but your rooms would have been present because you were present. But it is
Okay, I got you.
it is built for whoever's there. The fact that there's no bedroom there, you would assume. Yeah.
So, is there anybody here?
She had her own room.
Anyone in the common area? She
She had her own space.
in Sheridan? Okay.
As part of the arrangement for her being there and you're using her invitation, she had her own space.
I'll go back to our room.
As you approach your door, you can hear Remington, who had stepped in to speak to Westland. Dash. Good timing. Would you both join me, please?
Yes. Before we go anywhere, where's Lissa?
She vacated the premises a week ago, I believe. Did she not speak to you?
No.
Oh.
Why?
I'm sorry to bring you more bad news on a day like this. We can discuss this matter shortly. I will give you my full attention, but for the moment, could you please come with me?
Of course. Dash is kind of straighten up and trying to reset himself, essentially.
Weston, are you going as well?
I will refill my my mug, but yeah, I mean, it's on the way out. Go see what this man wants.
Chicken comes too, but when you look at chicken, it has like a big roast chicken, like a proper good sized one. Needs to refill after this day. But it comes with you, and like he's like carrying this fucking massive chicken. On your way with Remington, he stops by the infirmary, and he calls to Eos, Madriana, and Slate. Could you three please come with me as well? Would that be okay?
Eos wakes from her nap and she heads up.
Oh, sorry, Eos, you're in the cell. I'll come to you in 1 second. I apologize. In my head, I had you in the infirmary. Sorry. Yeah. Madriana and Slate, sorry.
A lot of logistics.
Yeah. I'm pumping a migraine, so I'm trying to just remember what I'm doing.
If there was only some sort of device we could all communicate together.
We were, Adrian and myself were assisting the nurse and any other staff that were there.
Yeah.
Previously, they'd been handing out potions in the corridors out the front on the beach, etc. The infirmary's now larger. Presumably, there's a stock of potions, and we're running back and forward giving potions to people.
Yeah, you're just following instructions of Martin, who would be trying to help Nightingale. Yeah.
On that note, 2 things I'd like to do. One, being the thin machinist X kind of character, it would be obvious that because he's so thin and, you know, like I said, lean, he is covered in really old, everything from needle marks to scars, burns, all sorts of stuff all over him.
Right.
And he's particularly direct is probably the best way. So he's literally just walking over, spitting out the corks, spitting them, and like pouring them onto people's faces nearly, you know what I mean? Like opening it, just not nicely, but he's doing it.
Just making it happen.
Yeah, what I would like to do during all of that is 2 things. One, unceremoniously not hiding it while carrying a whole pile of them, spit a cork and drink one myself. And 2, I want to try and amongst when it's all going on, if I think there's sufficient supply, because I presume they're being replenished, because it is a room of like gives you what you need.
Yeah.
So
the whole place is like a room of requirement kind of deal, where it usually has what you need.
So seeing as we're taking the potions from whatever receptacle or area that they're in and divvying them up, once I realize that they're being replenished over and over and I take one myself, I then want to attempt to pocket some, if I may.
Yeah, no problem. Also you can take, I'll just say 2, 1 in each pocket. If you just mark that down for me, I'll add that to your inventory later.
Lovely. And then I head out when Remington comes past and calls or whatever.
Okay. Madriana, are you coming too?
Yeah, so I think the idea would have been, like I said, because I was doing the running, because I'm particularly quick, is that I'd be doing the running to and fro and giving Slate the potions to administer. So yeah,
just like pocketing them every time you give them.
For the one that I drank, can I roll for that, or do you want me to roll for that? Does it matter?
Yeah, go ahead. No, it would.
Yeah.
I think it would do your max HP anyway, right? Like your.
So I'll just max it then.
Just
Do
max
that?
it. Yeah. It can't, even on its lowest roll, would fill the last gap. So.
Lovely.
If I see him pocketing any, I'll try and slip one into his bag as well, so he's got an extra one.
Okay, so you can mark down that you have 3.
Nice.
I am sneaky.
Yeah, no, I'll allow 2 because they're not going to be paying attention, and it's not like that at all. And I also don't think this is the kind of environment where they actually would like actively kick up a fuss about it. Like if you need it, you need it, you know. Yeah. So. He leads you all to the cell, and he brings you in. Not into the cell itself, but to where the cells are. Like there's a space, if you think about like the prison area of a jail cell, you can stand in the hallway area beside the cells themselves. That's where you would be. Eos is just kind of, I guess, asleep a little bit on the floor, waking up.
Literally, yeah. She's slumped on the ground.
Okay. You do that, and then as he moves in, just for privacy, I will be doing this, but you are welcome to leave anytime. He waves his hand and the door disappears and is replaced by a wall, so that you guys have complete privacy. Nobody can eavesdrop through the wall. Nobody can come in and out or anything. You guys just have privacy to do this. He's going to kneel down, and first, Hatsu, he's going to wake you up. At this point, you would be waking up in the cell without your items or anything.
He would kind of sit down, his legs crossed.
Okay.
He would feel there's nothing on his belt. He touches like his rope. He doesn't find his shurikens. Would he feel his notebook?
No, you wouldn't have anything on you except your robes themselves and your mask. You have that on. You don't have any of that removed. Like, Remington understands what it is, but also understands that right now you can't have like anything that might be classified as a weapon, and in Hatsu's hand, everything is a weapon. So
Takes a deep breath and he looks around. And he stops at Boreal's place. And he kind of tries to distinguish by a deep look if he looks injured in a way that he should be concerned.
no, he's from all intents and purposes asleep. Might have a bump on his head, but besides that, but you wouldn't see the bump, not out of the feathers or anything. So he's, for all intents and purposes, he's just asleep on the floor. Yeah.
He kind of shoves around to face Boreal, and he folds his hands, and he goes one more time. Mother of light, creator of shadows, send down a bee for those who were in need. And he kind of bows down like a little bit, and he turns back towards Remington.
I believe we all probably should have a conversation before we disclose with the school what is going on.
Yeah, Hatsu, what the fuck?
This was quite a serious transgression. I think that it's best that we have a conversation about it in a safe environment before we talk to anybody else. He is very defeated. He's having a hard time mustering it up. He has had a bad few days here. All of you have.
I'm visibly have my pack off on the ground, and I've emptied my pockets, potions in, and all I'm doing is adjusting all the straps, tightening my bag, like getting it ready to leave, as what it clearly looks like, packing everything, tying all the straps, tying it all off, putting everything in, making sure it's all secure.
Remington moves over to the edge of one of the cells where the seats are, and he sits down, and he just lets you guys have a conversation, but he's noting that he is paying attention and listening, that this is an observed conversation. This isn't like you guys suddenly aren't in a private environment. Like, he is part of this. No one else is. The room is closed to you, but that is the situation, yeah.
I don't think there's much to say, is there, Remington? Surely these two students will have to go.
We believe in equality and fairness here. Everybody is allowed to plead a case and discuss things, and there will be a hearing for this, of course. But as you are all assembled together, I think the best insight and questions would come from you, rather than a room of peers.
I'll walk up to the cell and just kind of look at Hatsu. I think you need to explain to us why you betrayed us.
So, I betrayed you, you say? First, I want to tell you that I don't harbor atrocities against you or anyone. But if you only answer to things that you don't understand as violence, and when I have to see that my brother, who almost died a few days ago, gets attacked, there's nothing to talk about.
But it's fine for him to murder several.
That's what you guys don't understand. You think you see something you've never witnessed and make your conclusions. And by all means, You act without thinking about the consequences. You should know better, Amy.
Speaking of consequences and knowing better, you just said we should know. So we know the difference between someone who's trying to hurt somebody by trying to burn us all alive and somebody trying to disarm somebody or hold them down or just restrain them. And you, of all people, should know the difference. So you can get off your high horse, and you better do it quick.
So if you turn in the form of somebody else, and you would commit a crime, and they would kill Mr. Hype Man here, would it be justified?
I think you're missing his point. His point was that Dash wasn't trying to kill your brother. He was just trying to stop him from killing others. Yet you decided to take a violent attack.
Whoever touches my brother will feel my wrath.
For someone who trains so much, you don't seem to have very much mastery over your own weapon.
It is what it is.
Also,
Can't train luck and destiny.
so what if his destiny is to kill fucking everyone? That's fine by you because he's your brother, is it?
Nothing to do with my brother.
I'd say the
I've
people in
sworn
the infirmary that are burnt to shit would disagree with that.
I would disagree that he would do something like this intentionally whatsoever.
I think we know very well that he wasn't doing it intentionally, Hatsu. That's the entire point of trying to restrain him. I saw his eyes, that wasn't him. I've seen that.
From all the people of the world, you guys come to me to imprison and punish somebody that is different, that can't control what he is. Is that what you're telling me?
No, we're
Sure, so kill people is fine. You're right. We were all in the wrong. Guys, we should let them out. You should just let them kill everybody. Totally fine. Makes total sense. Don't try and restrain them. Let them kill everyone. Perfect. Yeah.
Hatsu. It was not a violent action. We were trying to stop him from hurting everyone else and himself until he got back to his usual self.
Pretty sure he walked with his face in his head, right? And he points towards Westland.
If I did it your way, I would have took his head off.
Before we continue this, Eos, you may have some critical insight into a situation similarly positioned like this. If it's okay for me to speak frankly, I would like to hear your feedback and opinion on something like this.
Eos stands up from her corner, sitting on the ground. When I was a sleeper and I awoke, 21 people were destroyed within an instant. In my case, it was defense, self-defense. They tried to hang me. They semi-successfully did. She pulls down her kind of scarf thing and shows the scars around her neck. But when I woke up and the elder voice in my mind told me the words and cast what he did, it was me who was there. Boreal was clearly not himself. Someone else or something else was in his mind in performing those actions. That's why I tried to wake him up.
So what you're saying is, Remington, is that essentially you've brought us all here to a place with dangerous fucking people, of which you obviously have no control over.
Respectfully, Madriana, you already came from a place of dangerous fucking people. There was no promise that this place would be secure. This was the best option that we had. And there's a reason that we put all of you together. So you can look at this as some form of disrespect or slight, but I disagree. I just don't think you have the full picture yet. If anything, I still argue that you are safer now than you were a month ago.
But the difference was, I wasn't lied to there. I knew what it was.
I can assure you I had no idea that this was going to transpire or happen. We are here to train people. This is still news to me as well.
And the two men?
This has been an incredibly difficult week for this school, but we are working on it. We can only deal with the threats as they come. We cannot anticipate every threat. But I'm happy to work with all of you to make this school safer. That I can do. But I cannot anticipate everything that could possibly go wrong. But I can tell you, if Boreal had done that somewhere else, this wouldn't be a discussion. He would no longer exist. And if Hatsu had responded like that, he would no longer exist. And if they had seen a glimpse of Eos, she would no longer exist. We have built this place to handle threats and handle things, and sometimes power exceeds the person wielding it. But I will say that this is not the first time I've seen something like this. Though I did not know that Boreal would succumb to something like this. But he is not.
Or Hatsu. Because neither could control themselves. Both of them struck out at us. Both of them have hurt students. Thus far, Hatsu's not remorseful at all. He's not sorry for his actions, so there's no reason to think he wouldn't happily do it all again. Therefore, he's as dangerous as he was in the courtyard.
Hatsu, can I ask, what would you have us have done differently?
Well, I was praying. I was praying for my brother. I was praying that nobody gets hit. But if anybody touches my brother, I would handle it the same way as I did, without regrets.
No need for a trial by the looks of it. Case closed, no remorse, will offend again.
I'll
be perfectly honest with you. If he wasn't your brother, I would have driven my sword through him. It's the fact that he was your brother, I chose to restrain him instead.
That's the only reason why he is alive. And he points to Wesleyan.
Kill is wrong.
Killing is wrong.
We all know this. But again, for someone who trains so well.
I'm sorry, Remington, but as long as he decides to choose one, even by blood, over the many, I shall never walk by his side.
Well, there are measures that can be taken to make sure that this does not happen again. But it would not be an easy process for Boreal.
If it's anger management, that shit doesn't work.
Well,
Ren,
yes,
what was it that took over Boreal?
we don't know, but this is not the first time we've heard these words and seen this happen. And it is usually preceded by a blood moon.
I was born in one of those.
My gut instinct would tell me so was Boreal.
Hatsu. Did he ever do this before as a kid? As a youngling?
Has this happened before?
And how many did he kill that time?
Hatsu. With the greatest of respect, I will speak frankly and directly to you here. And I assure you there is no disrespect intended in any of my words that follow. I know your father, I know your family, I speak to you as I would speak to them. Today, Dash was nothing short of a hero. I could only deflect so much, and with each strike, Boreal hit harder than he did before. I don't know what potential he had, but had Westland not tackled him, and Dash not restrained him, I don't know that we could have stopped him.
But that's okay, isn't it? Because he's your brother.
I would argue that your allies here were trying to help, not hurt your brother. Although in the heat of the moment, I do understand how it may seem different. If Boreal is to behave this way in public, it wouldn't be Scorchwood that he goes to. He would just be taken out. He would be considered a raised threat and locked away. Or not locked away, apologies, he would be gone. There would be nothing that you could do. And all the anger and sword swinging in the world would not help you.
It would help you join him, though.
Yes. All things considered, our 5th years did not respond as well as our 1st years did today. This group behaved far better than I would have expected from any 1st year. Westland was not trying to hurt your brother, he was trying to save him. He saw a potential future where, had he not done this, more people could die or your brother could die. Dash was trying to merely block the focus of what your brother could see in an effort to stop him from potentially casting more spells, which is far more advantageous than I would expect from anybody who does not understand magic as your brother does. This situation was grossly out of hand. I think that there's some reflection that needs to be done on what happened here today, and not just from Hatsu. I think you all have people in your lives that if something like this happened to them rather than Boreal, you would react quite similarly to Hatsu and fight tooth and nail to defend them if you thought that his life was at stake. There will be a trial. I would strongly recommend that all of you evaluate what happened here today. Ask your questions, but do it with respect for each other. If you wish to leave the same as anybody else, you may leave. But I still think this is a far safer place when we work together to do that and accomplish that. And I could use your help. Things will always happen in these walls that I cannot account for. Sometimes crisis response is what we need to do. I have a great deal of love and respect for all of you. But this is a very serious situation. So I would argue that all of you put your aggression aside and think with logic. And think clearly. Decisions need to be made. And I am not the only person here who needs to make them. Some of you are as sharp with your words as you are with your blades. But consider that your words are still a weapon. And antagonizing each other is not going to resolve this. He sits back down. Speak to each other as allies and try and understand each other so that we may move forward. I will not keep you here. I can open that door right now and you can leave. But I don't think that's truly what any of you want. I think that's a response to what has happened here. As I said, I will work with you to make sure that this doesn't happen again as best as we can. Try talking, communicating. He sits back and he just folds his arms, And he just waits to see what you guys want to do.
Yes,
Major.
they tried to hang you.
Hmm?
Yes, they really tried to hang you.
Yeah, they did.
And he kind of points at Boreal, and it was that? The same thing?
No, I'll spare the details. I went on a small adventure for reasons, and I found a village. Wolves were attacking this old man. I tried to save the man, killed the wolves. The man ran away in fear. Set up my camp, thought nothing of it, and while I was half asleep, they raided my camp, grabbed me, tore the clothes off me, hung me in a wall. The rain poured. I woke up, and 21 people are on the wall, singed to ashes. But Taki was fine.
Good. And Madriana would almost certainly notice that Dash's knuckles are pure white at the moment, hearing that story. Hatsu, you've been very good at giving me advice in our time here. I think it's time I return the favor. You need to analyze the situation from outside yourself. I understand.
I was thinking,
your
apologize,
desire.
surrender your weapons, leave
That's
with your
not
head
going to
down.
come, Slate. Don't.
You know.
He doesn't have his weapon. I do.
I
understand
meant
your desire
full
to
time.
save your brother. I understand your desire to save your brother, but we were trying to save him too. If we don't understand the actions that are being taken there, the best we can do is try to suppress them in a aggressive but as safe as possible manner.
See, I chose to do what I did when it happened to me. And Boreal clearly didn't have any say or any word on what was happening to him.
I think that's very obvious. I could see that. I would imagine you magic users would see it too. I mean, I just assume anyone whose eyes glow red like that, it's not them in charge of themselves at the moment.
Let
I
me
could be
be
wrong.
straight from my perspective here. I do not hold anything against Boreal. He was obviously not of his own volition. But to have you, Hatsu, disgrace the lives of others because of one, even of blood, and not to have any remorse for it? I don't care what training you've had, but that is dishonorable, and you are not worthy of this blade. And I'll throw the blade towards Remington.
If someone
Until-
attacked,
You talking about honor backstabbing somebody. You talking about honor hiding.
You fucking
You
attacked
talking about-
Weslin when he was trying to stop your brother. How do you dare you talk to me about backstabbing when
You
you're
don't
attacking
even know what
those?
happened. You was not even there.
I
How
was
could
on the
you
ground,
know what
fucking
happened?
burnt to death because of your fucking brother.
So
Did I
how
get
did
up
you
and try and stab your
evaluate?
brother? No.
You just handled from emotions like I did, so don't blame me for doing that.
Okay,
Didn't
both of you
handle
stop.
from
This isn't
emotion.
helpful. Stop it. God damn it.
No.
Remington said not to antagonize each other with your words. You doing exactly that.
I'm not antagonizing him, Dash. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna fucking suffer the lives of many because of one. If it was my own fucking blood over the lives of many, it would still be the same decision. You chose wrong. That's all there is to it. And I will say to you, Remington, as long as that is the decision of this school, then I shall head back to where I know best. Because as far as I'm concerned, anyone willing to risk the lives of many, many innocents because of one, I don't want to be any part of it.
To be clear, no decision has been made. There will be a council and a court. I just wanted to hear what you would say first.
Well, that's
Council
my
and the
point.
court. The council and the court can have their findings. They can have their trials and tribulations. What's done is done. There's no remorse. There's no understanding of wrongdoing. No acceptance of going above and beyond using lethal force. There's nothing more to be discussed. It's like banging our heads against the wall. As far as I'm concerned, when you open that wall, I'm gone. This place isn't safe. I don't want to be here. I'm the same as Adriana. If you can't guarantee our safety, which you said you could, clearly you can't. And your thing is, let's talk about this more. Doesn't seem to be any talking that's worth doing. It makes no difference. So if words are all there is, then my words are goodbye.
Then so be it. So is it true that you feel no remorse for what you did?
No. I tried to defend what I sworn to protect.
Do you not see though that we weren't trying to harm Boreal?
I didn't. And you didn't ask me about anything. You don't know my brother. I know my brother.
For someone as perceptive as you should have been able to see.
Didn't really have time to ask when there's fire
He stops.
flying about.
He's super angry at getting interrupted by Slate, and he's fucking triggered.
Things are a little bit heated at the moment. Slate, I would ask, and I have no right to, but I would ask that you delay your leaving of the school until we've had a time to at least convene as a council. Not just for respect for yourself and for those around you, but also we would like to talk to you and get your view and hear your side of this story. This is a very tense situation. But my prerogative is not only keeping you safe, but making sure something like this doesn't happen again. I need to learn what I can from this situation. I cannot do that if I don't have everybody's perspective. But I am not keeping you here. Nor am I keeping any of the other students here.
You should find me in our quarters when you wish to have my statement.
Thank you, Adriana.
And she'll walk towards the wall.
Before we... Go ahead.
As you know, Rem, I have done the same. I would do the same again if it was someone under my watch.
Hatsu, for the moment we will leave Boreal unconscious, but he is safe. But I cannot allow him to be awakened until we know more of what's happening. But I assure you he's safe, he's okay. He will be monitored and checked. But for this time, he will just be asleep.
He kinda bows down a little bit towards Remington. He says, "Domo arigatou gozaimashita." You know, I have every trust in you. And if you guarantee me that he's fine, he will be fine.
I need to keep the students safe. And whilst I believe that this is past, I need to talk to people and figure out exactly what we can do to restrain this. There are processes, but if we don't need to, I would rather not go that far.
One question in between. Did Slade and Adriana leave?
They can't leave, but they're by the door, the wall, yeah.
So they would still hear what he says, right?
Yeah.
He would go. We still new to this. We still have our perspectives. Some of us might had never have to make difficult decisions. So I hope you kind of blend this into your trials. What people did and do not do. And judge for the best of this place.
As you said for yourself, you don't know what everyone's been through.
Slate spits on the ground.
He's ignoring them. He's just talking to Remington.
If it's okay, what we will do is reconvene in the morning. I think it's time to get a little bit of rest. Hatsu, for the moment, I will keep you here, not just for your safety and for the safety of others, but also for you to keep a watchful eye over your brother, who is beside you.
He just glances over to Remington, looks at his sword, or his swords, because he should have two, by the way. And he says, just be aware what kind of burden you're holding in your hands, and be safe.
Before I open the door, if there are any further rational questions or statements to be made, I would say make them. But please keep it civil. The fires were outside today. We don't need them to burn in here too. It has been a difficult day for everybody. But it's time now to be rational and think ahead. Now I have a lot of students to take care of. Are there any final points before I open this door?
When does the trial run?
We'll begin the process tomorrow. I cannot give you an exact time, but it will be this week. Classes will be put on hold as we decide the fate of this school and decide if we shall keep it open or not.
Okay.
As you rightly pointed out, the safety of these students is more important.
Just want to make sure I'm there as well.
I will talk to you soon.
So
Go ahead.
I don't believe your honor is in question for trying to protect your brother, Hatsu. I just think you're too close to the situation to analyze it properly at the moment. I hope you'll see that we meant well. Now bow.
He looks at Dash and he goes, I never doubted that you had honorable intentions.
Your actions would have suggested otherwise.
Mind.
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Well, I explained it. Just because you don't understand doesn't necessarily mean that we have different opinions about it. You see, some might put someone into prison and expel them from everything, from every village, every city, just because they're robbing. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Nor am I a bad person when I follow my oath.
You were just robbing people of their lives with your blade, but that's okay. Sure.
never considered you a bad person, Hatsu. I just consider that that's the first time since I've met you. You made a mistake in judgment. Or chose the wrong course of action.
What was your first thought when you did find the floating body in a goo on a ship where you shouldn't have been?
My first thought was, what the fuck is that?
What did you tell me what you thought about the body?
That it was dead? Or that they were
Have you-
using it?
Have you proof?
No,
Have you asked? Have you helped that person?
not yet.
Have you had the same encourage? No, you hadn't. Why? Because you were afraid that people would catch you. So you weren't willing to help that one innocent person on that very ship at that very night. None of you did. You didn't even ask questions about it. You didn't investigate. Did I question you once?
That's a very good reason for that, Hatsu. I didn't think I was
Only
capable.
The only thing I'm saying is some things are neither good nor evil, but sometimes you have to make your very decision if you stick to the things you've sworn to or you're running away. I don't run. I stick.
Stick, but using your own words, we are all capable of making the wrong decisions. I think we
And
need
you
to be
could have
capable
made
of
the
acknowledging
decision to end my life, and that would be okay.
I absolutely could. Noted.
It's not a decision I would like to take, Hatsu, nor one I ever intend to.
The door appears on that. Whoever wants to leave can.
I'm out.
This is-
Gone.
She's back on the back and around in the corner. She's kind of twiddling her thumbs, listening to everything that Hatsu and Dash are talking about. She won't be leaving for a few minutes.
But we will, because we're going to take a break. Thank you so much. Quick reminder to everybody that when we're RPing, it's never hostile from player to player. It's just character to character. We all love each other. We're all very happy. And
Oh,
No, I
Nobody's
disagree.
mad.
I fucking hate this group.
Well,
I
except
really
for
don't
busy.
like Kian.
Well, that's all right, because your character's going to be fucking God soon. So get
Oh
fuck
my
off.
god.
You're gonna be shaving your beard
Oh
off.
man, you don't want the Toshitsugu army to run over your fucking village.
Oh,
Thank you guys so much.
fucking
Wait till I get
yeah.
the big baby oil out.
So for those of you in Twitch chat with us at the moment, of course you can join our boss battle. We are going to set it up in a moment. How it works is once you see the message pop up in chat, you can simply join with exclamation point and the class that you would like to play. It gives you a minute and a half to join, and once you do, you'll be able to fight the boss. We have predictions in chat if you wish to bet channel points on it. I think, Rory, you won like 23k last time, which was just crazy. Feel free to join us in that, and we super appreciate it. We'll be back to you in a moment. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll just be a flash or a dash. And if it is, if you're viewing it here on Twitch, you have 10 minutes. We will run it now. Thank you guys so much. We'll try and get the ads to run now as well, so it doesn't interrupt your experience, and we'll be back in 10. BRB. Hey, we are back. Thank you for joining us after that long break. Music is just still bopping away here. Thank you so much. We join our group. I'm going to say that the evening has winded down. So Hatsu, you're still in your cell, but the rest of you would be in your dorm. What do you guys want to do?
Make a cup of tea.
Probably a good time.
I need to have a word with Madriana, if possible.
It's up to.
So kind of, I suppose, on the way back
Oh,
to
on the way? Okay, yeah. Okay.
or just kind of as we get back to the dorm. I just kind of tug Adriana on the arm and just kind of gesture to my room, I guess. Non-sexual, just 'cause I know what Shaq's like.
I was gonna say, did he bust out the bottle of baby oil? Because if he did, then I'm not.
He's gonna.
He's
bust
doing that
something.
whole.
Endless decanter of baby oil. Yeah, you.
I wonder why that dish in the room was always slippery.
Oh my god. You open the door to the bedroom, you go in and you close it. You two are alone.
I leave it ajar.
Adriana, can be frank with you. After the last couple of days, I don't know who the fuck I can trust around here.
Well, first of all, if your name is Frank, then I guess I can't trust you.
It's like airplane level jokes.
Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley, yeah.
Oh, I got him. I fucking got him. I absolutely nailed him.
Snap out of it.
Wake up.
Oh,
And
someone clip
scene.
that one. Oh, fuck. Oh, such a stupid joke.
All right, Frank, get back in the game. Let's go.
I will say it's definitely been a taxing week. Seems to unfortunately been all revolving around Hatsu.
It does. And evidently Boreal as well.
I mean, let's be honest. He's too stupid to be able to do that himself. I think that's quite obvious.
That was my thinking. I mean, my first interaction with him, he was basically falling over his own feathers. And I gather that's quite a frequent thing.
Either that or he has a level of deception that I've never seen.
Even I'm not that good. But,
She bites her tongue very hard when he says that.
it concerns me that Eos mentioned similar happened to her. And I don't like to cast judgment, but Wesleyan seemingly teleported not of his own volition. I don't know enough about magic to know if this is a frequent occurrence, if I can expect explosions out of nowhere when surrounded by magic users. Forgive me if I sound prejudiced, but it's difficult to get my head around. You're the only one currently that well, wings aside, I'm quite sure is not going to blow up on me. Not so metaphorically speaking.
Yes, yeah, it's hard to... Honestly, even I'm struggling with this. Since our playful spar on the beach, mine and Slate, the way he was able to manipulate certain aspects of my movements and attacks and stuff, I've definitely felt more on edge about it. Curiosity would be a lot of it too. But this is just a whole other level of beyond my understanding. I think we can both agree that we don't believe that what happened there was Boreal himself.
Absolutely.
There was obviously something more at play. And just for a statement's sake, my issue isn't with Boreal. What he did, like I said, was not under his own volition. My issue is the reaction to, rather than stop the one, is to kill the many. But as far as EOS goes, now finding out that they seemingly too also have the same ability to do this, that does make things rather dangerous for us as well.
Absolutely. Just for my point, I can somewhat, I won't say empathize with Hatsu, but I understand people to an extent, and they can very much become blinded by love, I suppose, particularly if they see those that they love in danger. So I do understand his actions if I don't agree with them. That's a whole other conversation. What interests me is I came here thinking I was at a massive disadvantage with the amount of magic users around, but they seem as fallible as the rest of us, which is both a comfort and a concern. I didn't, in my wildest dreams, think I'd be able to tackle a floating owl person who can use magic. The fact that I can, I mean, it gives me confidence in those type of encounters in the future, but also the fact that I can, it concerns me in that someone as susceptible to human folly as any of us has those abilities.
I mean, we've grown up in a world, right, where there has been these threats, these raised threats. We know they exist. We know they can create humongous amounts of damage over time, some very quickly. And I, to this point, have seen that it's only because they've been to remain unchecked. I feel that if Boreal isn't kept within check, this is something that could end up being the same for him. And my fear is that they would have someone like Hatsu by their side, supposedly doing it for the right reasons.
Tell me, what do you know of the crisis response unit?
I know that the word response isn't necessarily what they do. Response means to react, whereas from my perspective, they don't seem to react, at least not as quickly as they should.
Or are overly proactive in stamping out what they perceive as a threat. My concern is that we are treading dangerously close to tipping over into their line of thinking. I can see the logic behind it, I suppose, when you see things like this happen, but I don't want to be like them.
Again, I don't. Because their way of thinking is stamp out everyone that's different and that can be a threat. Whereas, how can I explain this in a way that would make most sense? If I was to give you a rabid dog, a dog that had been out in the wild and just had to obtain food in any way it can, okay? But then you take this dog and you spend 6 months, you spend a year with it, train it, learn from it as well, teach it how to be a respectable dog. Yes, it always has the ability to go back to that feral state, but hopefully with the training and everything, it won't. I feel like the crisis response unit is more, it's already feral. Whether it's done anything or not, let's just stamp it out.
Hmm.
That's
That
why I
makes-
held so much hope for this place.
I can see
Because
why you'd be disappointed, of course. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, that's quite comforting, actually. I appreciate that. Before we go back to the group, Lissa has left the school. I don't know why. Not yet. But,
Do you think she tried to break into the safe alone?
I don't think so. I must speak to Remington about her reasons for leaving, but I think she just left. So just if you have been keeping an eye out for her, it's not that she's much better at hiding than you had thought. She's just not here.
How would you know that that's not exactly what it is?
Different this time. She was never as angry with me as she was the last time I saw her. I don't know.
Have you tried to reach out to her?
Not yet. I just thought she was avoiding me and that I would see her somewhere when she'd cooled off, but obviously I haven't. So obviously it's not for you to worry about. Let's get back to the group before they wondering where we're gone.
Yes. Let me know what you find out.
Will do. Can I trust you?
As much as any of us can trust each other right now, I guess.
Okay. Well, walk out the door. Back to the common room.
The rest of you in the common room, what are you doing?
I'm gonna sit on the rug in front of the fireplace and sip my tea.
And the rest of you?
Can I teach you a song? Would you like to learn a song? I'll teach you a song of my kin. Play it.
Okay.
It is difficult to translate. It's hard to translate to its full words, but it is from a time when the skies broke and the witch was there. The kin ran through the woods and built a new home to be safe. And there, with ox and plow and axe and gear, they farmed sheep and made much love and more kin there at the edge of the sea, with the woods at their back, far from where the witch could find them. And it was there where they were safe and grew. It is a song that we sing when we have great joy in our hearts, great pride. in my next dream, if I see you, sing this to me so I know it is you. And he'll pull out his pan flute and begin playing the melody.
I won't make you roll performance. I think this is a song you know well. And this is a setting where you have your time to set it up and to do these things. You play it and Harley goes crazy for it. But the rest of you, you really enjoy the song and the way it plays out, but each of you is being taken somewhere else and seeing something different. So for those of you in the room, I'll start with the Matron and just go across alphabetically, if that's okay. What are you seeing through your mind as Westland plays this beautiful song to each of you? If anything.
Two things. One, a sunset where the birds are happily floating on that watery breeze, that ocean breeze, the hot air just keeping them aloft as they fly.
That's nice.
And the second thing she thinks of is she thinks of her home, not necessarily her house, but her home, and just people with smiles instead of how she always saw them.
That's nice. Dash, what do you see?
Dash is kind of sitting, getting back, eyes closed, listening to it, and you can almost feel sea spray, wind. He's on his father's ship. He's leaving port. It's misty. It's sunset. Slight haze on the horizon. The wind is just catching the sails, and there's the kind of little tinkle of the bell as it gets caught by the wind. Pulls up the anchor, and the ship starts to move. And as it takes wind fully, he kind of advances to the edge of the boat, and the mist just kind of separates a bit, and there's a woman standing there with her hair caught in the wind, matching the sail. She turns around and smiles at him, and as she does, the last rays of sun kind of catch his face and give that evening glow, and he's just at peace.
One day I'm going to come back to this and ask who the fuck it is. Eos, what do you see?
Yeah, so Eos says when she's sitting down on the rug, she's looking towards the fireplace while she holds her cup of tea in her hand. She closes her eyes and she starts remembering walking along the lakeside with Julia. She's babysitting her at the time in the daylight and holding onto her hands while she's feeding the ducks. It's nice, it's peaceful, wind blowing around, smell of fresh air. It's nice to be out in daylight for once in a while. Suddenly she hears a ranting of a man and a horse, and then she feels the tug as the man grabs Julia's arm, and she opens her eyes and puts that memory away.
Slate, do you get taken anywhere in this?
So at first, the first thought for me is to embrace the music. The want is to maybe take out the lute and join in like in good times past, maybe have a beer, maybe let myself go with the music. But based on what's just happened, I find myself stopping my foot from moving, and I'm more focused on the notes, the tones, the beats, the feeling that's in the air. But I find myself blocking all thoughts and refusing to let my mind wander. And I find myself making note of the song, committing it to memory, but focusing on remaining vigilant of the common room, all the access points, etc., and just I can't relax enough to have that moment.
Westlin, what goes through your mind as you show your friends this song that is very personal to you?
Fields of sheep, cloud busting, harvest, the long shadows of the autumn against the trees, foxes playing at the edge of the woods. Face of his kin, if he could only remember what they looked like. The moons at night in the summer, and the fireflies that come out around twilight. The stir of life in a very simple place. Clear of all of this.
Hatsu, as you sit in your cell, alone and isolated, I'd like to know what's going through your mind as well.
He's quite calm. He's not angry, not whatsoever. He's just in that very moment. And since Remington promised him that Boreal is gonna be safe, he starts to do his training routine. And he kinda shovels through his clothes if his power balls are still there.
I'll say, yeah, the food.
He's getting fucking hungry.
Yeah,
he's only eating once a day. Like
I'll say, I'll say the food is there. Yeah, I am not so cruel as to deprive Hatsu of his power balls.
So he kind of chucks down his 6 power balls, and after training, and he starts kind of meditate about everything that happened. And after his meditation, he goes back into like a praying stance, and he repeats until the sun would rise. He would continue, Mother of Light, Creator of Shadows, send down a bee for those who are in need.
Westlin, your song comes to an end, and everyone is brought back to the room. Bar Hatsu, of course. Not trying to rub it in, just setting the scene.
Yeah.
What would you guys like to do?
Sleep.
Fair.
Magiana's going to sneak out.
Okay.
And I'm going to go as stealthily as possible, and I'm going to try and sneak through the hallways and corridors that I'd found and see if there's any sign of Lissa.
Okay. I'll say go for investigation for me.
If he's been hiding in the tunnels this whole time, I swear to God.
Dash roll. 8.
8. You don't find any signs of Lissa in the tunnels.
That's just as telling as not, though, so. I'll stay there for a bit, and I'll head back when I think everyone's gone to sleep.
Okay. Dash has gone to bed. Madriana has gone to the tunnels. The rest of you?
Yeah. Eos is going to run a nice hot bath for herself, soak for a bit, and she's going to head to the windowsill, kind of accumulation of pillows and blankets she has there, and just 4 hours sleep away.
Slate?
Still sitting in the common room, facing the door, bag packed by his feet, almost one hand on the bag, just sitting waiting.
Weston?
You can't run from the dream. You are just in it. There is not a place you can go that will not bring you back here. The dream is with no end. It leaves marks in your mind, on your skin, even if you don't see them. And then Weston leaves the room and makes his way to the woods with a simple nod to Slate.
Where do you go?
It's a nod back, but nothing else.
Yeah. Where do you go in the woods?
To the glade.
You sit in the glade alone. You hear the water running, the little waterfall that's there. You take in the moon, or the moons, what is there of them, the bare slivers, because we are still quite in a lunar eclipse. They were red earlier, but no more. With that in mind, Chicken is nowhere to be seen and hasn't been in the room. That's not unusual. Although maybe part of Westland misses him a little more now that he's out in the woods. As you sit down and you lean against the rock wall and listen to the water flow and feel the mist against your skin, you look down, and quite unusually, because it is night, there's a bee resting on your knee.
I switch over to Wild Speak. It is cold for you, little one.
There is no response, but the bee sits with you. Doesn't leave your... If it's sitting, let's say, on your knee, it doesn't leave that space. It doesn't look threatening, it doesn't look like it intends to sting, but perhaps it is seeking warmth.
I leave it be. Yeah, I leave it be. Let it seek shelter here. This place is as much of its as it is mine. And provide shelter from the cold air or whatever may be uncomfortable to it. And another sleepless night, waiting for the sun to rise.
The sun doesn't take as long to rise as you would think. It was long into the night before any of you even got towards a point of resting. And with so much happening, I would find it difficult to believe that any of you would get a good night's sleep. Although you would not be pushing exhaustion either. Typically there would be classes, but as you're all aware, they are cancelled. A lot of the students remain in their dorms, not wanting to leave, although it is optional. Hatsu, at some point during your time in this cell, you hear a sound that is familiar to you as the tiny little pitter-patter of feet as Chicken enters your area. Not the cell itself, but like the part outside. He hops up on the chair and up on the table next to your stuff, and he lays down and puts his head down on the sword. And just lays there. No malicious intent, no strange behaviors, just stays there. As the day moves on, you all eventually go get your food and wait for Remington. And it isn't far into the day that Remington approaches each of you in your respective locations, wherever they may be, to let you know that there will be a court beginning today. They have prepared ships for those who wish to leave, but they would ask that anyone who's willing to stays and goes through this process, because it may be vital to submit some information where possible. And it would be nice and crucial for anyone to provide anything that may be important, not just in anger or frustration for this situation, but also in favor to help understand what can be done better. The school has had incidents over the years, and that's not a secret. It's not something they hide, it's just they try and keep these things under control. But this is the biggest one in recent history that has happened on these grounds. The court will begin at 4 p.m. All are welcome to join. Students, faculty, and everything else. But there will be a selected member of faculty sitting on what would be considered a board or a council to determine what needs to happen here. It won't just be up to one person, and Remington will sit this out. He will not be on that council, as he feels it would be a conflict of interest. He has a lot of love and appreciation for every student, as he is the one who helped handpick all of you. So there's no way that he can fairly and equally consider these things on the council. So instead it'll be comprised of 5 different members of staff who are not attached to Hatsu or this situation in any way, i.e. not the nurse who helped heal all these kids and people, as she may have a bias in one direction, and not somebody who was necessarily right there, although everybody did witness the aftermath of what happened. In the build-up to the court case, is there anything that you guys want to do? I say court case, it's just a trial, but I got kind of into it. I'm like, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, let's go, objection. Like just throwing all these words, man. But this trial that's coming up now to not just decide the fate of Hatsu, of course, and his time at the school, but also to decide if the school is safe to keep open anymore, and should it be potentially shut down, as this threat is and has been massive to the students and resulted in the injury of many students. So they want to take this responsibly. They cannot deal with an outside court on this because most people don't like anybody who's in this school, so it has to be dealt with inside with a council. It will be treated fairly and equally, but in the build-up of that, is there anything you guys want to do?
I'd like to take Tucky for a ride through the forest for a couple of hours.
Cool. No worries, yeah.
I actually want to head to the library.
Okay. You're gonna get your bar degree before you pass the bar before
Yeah.
you're gonna go on.
Suits done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember everything. Hearsay,
Adriana
I guess,
takes the
right?
keen mind feat. Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Key in mind. Nice. What? Sorry. The
Is that another pun I can make down the
no,
line?
no,
Okay.
no.
It's too late.
I've
Noted.
kicked myself from the campaign. Yeah. So, Madriana, you head down to the library. It is incredibly quiet. There's nothing major going on. There's somebody who's cleaning and sweeping the floor. There's the crackling of the candles and the torches and sconces that are there, but
That's what I was hoping for anyway. Yeah. I'm looking for first, so there's going to be a couple of different references I'm searching for. One is the blood moon. Two is effects on individuals
okay.
born within that time, or anything noted that way, and also raised threats, because
Okay.
I basically want to see if there's any correlation between those things, and also just to get a better understanding of anything people may know to do with these things.
Okay. So raise threats we've already done and established that there isn't anything here, but the idea would be most likely for the safety of students to not encourage that behavior, rather to keep the school safe and stuff like that. That's not something that's hidden from you. It's something that can be done, but you're probably going to have to request it rather than just pull it off a shelf.
It was more that if I'd seen people that had been noted to be born during a blood moon, whether any of those names kind of rung a bell as to who she might know as raised threats later on in life.
Sure. What we'll do then is I'm going to get 2 separate history checks for you. We're going to start with blood moons, and then your second question where it correlates to magic users in general and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case it would affect it, would Madriana have let us know that she's going to do this, or
Question?
just gone off and done it?
I probably slept in the Undercroft and headed there straight from there, to be honest.
Cool.
I probably didn't even go back to the room, so okay. So that's a 19 for the blood moon.
Okay. I'll get the second history check for you as well.
Okay, sorry, let's just get my notepad ready for my notes. Second history check is going to be a 17.
Okay. So 17 to see if there's any
Correlation between
correlation,
people
yeah.
born in blood moons and specific powers or correlation to powers and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Just going through my notes here. So, because a 19 is very good. Okay. So, starting with the blood moon, it is referred to in the books not necessarily as a blood moon itself, but as the crimson moon. So the crimson moon is like a deep crimson experience that happens, but it only happens with one moon. It doesn't happen with the broken or fractured moon that you have in your orbit. It has the other one, the whole complete one it's a rare celestial event that causes it to become crimson like blood. So colloquially it is known as the blood moon, but in actual scientific astrological terms they call it the crimson moon. In ancient myths, the crimson moon was sort of said to reflect the last heartbeats of a dying god, the unnamed one. So religiously speaking, they would believe that it is a reflection of the final beating heart of the god that died. As the light cascades over the world, it was marking a time where impossible things would become real. So that is what the mythology behind it was, but this was obviously deemed myth over the 1500 years that you the year's 1542 in the campaign. So in that time they have gone through, religiously speaking, this whole escapade, but that is what they believed, that it was a reflection of the last doof, 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 and that it would signify a big change. Communities used to hold these vigils that were called the unnamed vigil, for the unnamed god, for the one who died. The festival would sort of celebrate these crimson moons, and they would light these deep red lanterns, and that would cause for celebration. They would send them up into the sky to celebrate the blood moon, and it would be like a reflection of that, or sending love or light to something that needed the help. What did you get? You got a 19, right? What you do find is a journal. It doesn't say who it's from, but it does state that it is a journal that is tracking magical changes and abnormalities. And one such thing that happens is that magic becomes wild and unpredictable during the Crimson Moon. Spells are often amplified or causing unintended consequences, presenting both great potential and great risk to the user. It is written in that type of text as well. It is a very scientific journal. Somebody is trying to learn and study these things, and this is what the conclusion came to. This is a very kind of older journal. It looks like something that was used for a long time.
I'm making a particular note of the way the text is written, not just its sentence in structure, but like italic, bold, like basically that if I ever saw this writing again, I'd know it's the same person.
Put it in your notes that you're noting that for me, because if it ever comes up again, I can let you know. You can ask me. I may not actively think of it because my brain doesn't do that, but I will gladly respond to that question. So if you do ever want to know, hey, is this from this person? We can go from there.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll make sure I make a note of that.
Now, obviously, today's Crimson Moon is not listed here on the list of previous Blood Moons. It's not a thing, but it does talk about the ones that have happened. And over time, it seems like there are certain periods of time where they happen quite rapid fire, and then there's maybe 100 years where it suddenly doesn't happen. In the more recent years of dates, you've got 1117, 1124, 1142, and 1170, and that was all in the same century. Then suddenly nothing happens until 1230, and then again there's a significant stretch to 1298. After that, there's 1310 and 1312, both heralding a Crimson Moon. Then nothing until 1507, and then 1520, and then nothing until today.
And what's today's again?
1542.
I'm laughing just because you did this to us in the first campaign, where you gave us times within a thing, and I managed to work it out. So I'll do it again.
I'm sure you will.
Okay.
With that in mind, on a 19, I'm pretty sure that is probably all you will get. So the religiously speaking stuff and the scientifically speaking stuff in two separate veins. You choose what you want to follow, and of course what you want to take from that. But a 19 is pretty good, so I gave you a significant amount there. There's obviously more to learn, but from this library and this search, this is what you get.
Can I change that second check then from people that were born under the blood moon and stuff, and instead then change it to anything extra I can find out about the unnamed one, particularly?
I can do a separate check for that. So I'm going to give you the information for the roll you made, but I will go through that. But there's a different roll that needs to be done for the unnamed one.
Okay, fair enough.
The only thing that you can link in terms of connections to the blood moon and the event, linking to say significant power or something like that, like you had said. I don't remember the exact phrasing that you said, so I'm not trying to hint at something. I'm struggling to remember the exact words you used.
Just any names of people that had been born and suspected to have power related to it.
There's two specific that I'll say that stand out, because you got a 17, right? There's two that stand out. One is Percival Stormblade.
Okay.
And one is Eric, like A-R-I-C. Eric Stormrider.
Sorry, spell that again.
A-R-I-C. Alpha Romeo, Indigo Charlie. Eric Stormrider.
Stormrider.
Yeah. it's a little bit scuffed on the information that you learn about the two of these people, but they both seem to be people of more substantial power and recognized to have come here, left here, and significant events were tied to it, but you're having difficulty finding out precisely what. Your assumption would be that this is somehow connected to race threats, because that's the only thing you're struggling to find, but you don't know exactly what it is. So you have the names, and that there is connections probably within that journal, to be honest with you, that are linking it, that this is people they would have cared to study and to look into, but that would be it.
Those names equals race threat. Noted.
And those
yeah.
names, they're none of the ones that set up the school and stuff. The hero ones.
No, these wouldn't be. No, those are different names.
They're different names.
I can give you those names if you need them, but yeah, no, it's Percival Stormblade and Eric Stormrider.
Yeah, no, just as long as I don't recognize them as them, that's fine.
No worries.
Okay. And then yeah, just the last thing about
That's
the
a
unnamed
religion
one.
check for me, please. Yeah.
Oh, this is where it's gonna suck. 18.
18. You're doing really good for research.
Yeah, right. Who needs EOS?
Okay. You go through a lot of history, a lot of lore, around. How do I explain this? Okay, I need a second just to think about this, because there's 18 is really good. What do you know or remember about the gods? Do you, because you're not, Majorana is not strictly speaking religious.
No.
Okay.
She comes from a world of science, not magic, and not religion.
Okay, pull up my notes.
Oh, you know it's good when you stump the DM as to what to tell you.
So you chose a very specific one. So basically speaking, what you learn about the gods, there are multiple. There is Minerva and Tempestus. They are considered to be the oldest gods. If anyone here can tell me anything about Minerva or Tempestus, I'll give you inspiration.
Tempestus is the cleric for, or the god for the Tempest cleric, right?
Technically,
He's
yes.
the one that created the. I do know more, but I can't think right now to say the words.
It was in all their packs. That's okay. So Tempestus specifically is the dominion of evocation and transmutation, but morally speaking, is responsible for basically the stars themselves, or what like the cosmos would be, is what the representation of Tempestus is, because it is believed that he is the father of the gods, whereas Minerva is the mother of the gods. You have Cobras, you have Aureus and Arius, they are the twins, and then you have the unnamed one, because nobody knows the name of what this god is or was. It was mostly forgotten to legend. So what you would get, because that was a significant roll, there isn't a lot of information beyond base information here. There isn't anything that's like deep factual knowledge, like of like someone who has a spiritual understanding of these creatures. It is more someone who who has read the books over time. So you're reading very normal standard mythology books, the same as you would get, for example, today as a children's story for like Thor and stuff like that, where you would go in and get these books that were once religious texts but are now considered to be like a kid's story or whatever, you know, like kind of in that sense. Fairy tales, yeah. So you read it from that perspective as a fairy tale rather than as a scripture or something, but you can tell where the origins come from. This is something that was once believed, feared, and discussed in a bigger way. The unnamed one was born from the same cosmic explosion that created the siblings and the parents and stuff. They believe it all came from the same origin, which revolves around Tempestus. Unlike his siblings, what is written is that he was considered to be unnerving or unsettling to look at. There was a fear that resonated within you whenever it came to the Unnamed One. His dominion was necromancy, to put it into context. In the schools of magic of what domain they had, the parents each had 2 domains, but the siblings all had 1, and his was necromancy. From early childhood as a god, the Unnamed One was drawn to death, decay, and naturally was drawn towards necromancy. Cobras, Aureus, and Arius, they were nervous and wary of him at all times. As he grew, he began to raise the dead, control them, and do things that were considered unnatural to all of their cosmic beings. There is just no part of you that feels that this is a natural state. But despite what was considered to be wickedness, he maintained connections with his family. He cared and had a deep love for the people within his family, which are considered to be these gods. He just had an ultimate ambition that exceeded what anyone else would deem as a normal realm. Most of these gods that are, again, they're all in the house of a family, but they would have been considered to be fair and equal, and they wanted life to live and die and go through its normal cycle. The Unnamed One, not so much. He believed in power beyond your limits and your measures, and as such, it became part of what was considered to be warping reality in the tale. Through the warping of reality, he became such a threat that the other gods had to slay him. So it's believed that he died in this, and that's when the first Crimson Moon was said to have been spotted. But the battle that would have caused this is what would have been called the Fracture, which is an event that led to the birth of your world. So they believe that the gods fighting and eventually slaying their own kin led to the universe that we have today, and that, religiously speaking, is what they believe to have unfolded and to have happened.
Is that also what supposedly happened to the other moon?
The other moon would have probably been damaged in that fight, yeah. There are other stories and other sciences, but if you're looking into that, that's a separate role. But for the moment,
that's fine.
The Fracture plunged the world kind of into chaos. This is a whole thing. This is believed by many that this had happened. This isn't just a religious thing. This is an event that everybody believes had happened. But it blurred the boundaries between the planes and disrupted the laws of physics and caused all sorts of chaos to unfold. That's D&D terms, that's what we're talking about. But because of this great period of upheaval that came beyond it, people also fear the Unnamed One, and that's when they say the name was lost. It had a name. Nobody remembers it because they believe there's a great power in that name. So that was just script from all books. That was, gone, and now it is just known as the Unnamed One. There are very limited renderings of like art or drawings for this thing because most people just fear it. You grow up with it, learning it as a monstrous story. It's a tale that scares you as a kid and scares you as an adult. It's just something haunting about it.
He's a boogeyman.
Yeah, basically. He's the one you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman. Yeah, but basically, effectively speaking, there's something horrific about it, but there's also something about it that just makes it feel like he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. So that's the compelling nature of it, is that it feels like someone who lost their way, just was never given a chance to find it. And ultimately, that is the story that you get from this. Again, from the comparison of children's books rather than text.
Yeah, that's the context I'm getting.
Yes, that's the context you're getting. Exactly.
Okay.
If you could stop rolling so good for history checks, that'd be fucking great, man. So much talking.
Lore drop.
Yeah, lore drop. But yeah, basically speaking, that's what you get from all of this. Strictly speaking, not everyone knows the stories of like the Unnamed One and stuff like that anymore. That, like I said, it's just a children's book now. But it is something that, like, most people who have any kind of background where any kind of faith would be in this, especially if they worship something like Minerva or Tempestus or something, they would probably know the story of the Unnamed One to about the same degree as you do now.
Okay. One very quick last question you could probably answer really quickly. Do I know of any of these whether they're underground or not, supporters of the Unnamed One in my hometown.
I am trying incredibly hard not to sing the Womble song. As you say, underground, I just wanted to start singing the Womble song.
Underground, overground. Yeah.
Yeah. So are there supporters? Yes. Are they usually found in cities and stuff? No. There would be people who believe that the Unnamed One deserves to be, to exist and to be alive, and that it should be brought back the way it brought back the supporters in the past. The Unnamed One has brought people back previously. They believe that they should now take it in their tide to bring back the Unnamed One, but that kind of level of magic is just unnatural and unheard of and incredibly insane. But there are definitely people who would support it. They tend to lean more into what you would consider to be a stereotypical necromancer in types of like dark robes, dark clothes. They look gothy and, you know, that kind of stuff. Like there are supporters, although it is incredibly limited. The only word that you find, and I'll refer back to the journal for this, of that kind of dark magic being studied is a place that is completely disregarded and nobody goes there, and it is just simply called Anvilthane.
Can you spell it?
Anvil and then Thane.
Anvil. Sorry, I didn't hear that beginning bit. Cool.
There was a place called Advilthane in real life. Cian would absolutely be like just going there.
Just for the dark magic, or just because it's called Anvilthane?
Just because it's called Anvilthane.
Oh, sick, yeah.
And I'd be driving.
There is actually a place that I think you're super going to love whenever we encounter it way down the line, and I'll tell you all about it when we get there. But there is somewhere near that actually is a place I think you'll love.
Why you gotta edge me like that?
It's my entire job as a DM.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all you would learn from that, yeah.
Cool. And apologies to the rest for such a long...
No. More lore drops. I mean, if Ken, you could just drop all the lore right now. We'll just, take notes.
Long ago.
Play that same song.
Hell yeah. What are the rest of you doing in your pre-build to the I was gonna say court case again, but the trial?
I'd go look for my telestone.
Where did you put it? I don't remember what you did with it. Did you throw it out the window? Oh, you just put it in your room.
Yeah.
Oh no, you just threw it out the window. That's right.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see if I can use it to communicate with Lissa.
Right. Okay, so you're going to try and communicate directly with Lissa. I mean, yeah, okay. What are you gonna say?
I assume I activate it by saying her name. Use my telestone. Just say.
Is that like a telestone 4S, or what is that like?
What's your mouse? It's a magic telestone 2.
You can't use it and charge it at the same time. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful design. Yes, let's say, Lissa, are you there?
No answer. No response. But the telestone is lit up.
If you can hear me, it's Dash, obviously. There was an incident at the school again. I'm fine. Everyone's okay. I'm sorry. I hope you'll consider coming back.
You just hear a deep sigh, and then typical Dash talks about himself before talking to anyone else. And the colors just fade on the stone.
least I know she's okay. That's all from me.
No problem. Sorry, Dash. Just fucking slapped you. I'm so sorry. As we approach this point now, just as we're going to go into trial and all of these things, are there any last minute things that need to be done?
How long does a bee stick around?
Probably till about morning, and then it flies off into the sun. Not into the sun, not like, but like, you know, like it flies into the light.
My boy.
Just murdering bees. It's like the rest of the campaign, it's just flying towards the sun. Yeah, sorry, that just threw me. Yeah, it flies towards the sun and it goes off into nature, and
I'd like to swing by wherever he may be, Chance, and I'd like to ask for that gold traveling money back, because that was our deal.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go down to the trial and just go and, you know, sit there early hours before everybody else, and the equivalent of reserve front row seats for everybody, and just sprawl out, feet up, and just sit and wait.
You have
Pretty
jackets on every seat.
Something like that, yeah. And just go and sit with my bag ready to go.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no problem. You like the room is like packed and full, and you're just still holding like the seats.
I find when you look like you have leprosy, no one wants to sit near you.
Eos will iron her clothing,
fair,
her robes, make sure everything's nice and prepped and nice and tidy as possible. And she's gonna make sure she smells good, feels good, she's ready. She's gonna head off to the courtroom.
Atsu would, when he sees Chicken, how he behaves, how he acts, he kinda tries to read. And from his meditating position, he switches to sit on his knees and folds his hands, and he goes, Shikin haramitsu daikomyo. Claps twice. And he goes, Onegashimasu, and he kind of bows down in front of Chicken.
Chicken lifts his head while you're talking and kind of looks towards you, and as you're doing all this, just a little tail flick as you're talking.
And he stops his prayer and goes back into deep meditation about his experience in the woods and how he did find peace. And he's deeply breathing in and out and kind of tries to smell the forest and the coolness of a cave on a hot day. And he kind of says to himself, we don't hide anymore. We shine. And he's kind of smiling a little bit and just waits for what is to happen.
A voice comes from across the room. What would you ask of me? Hatsu, do you want me to get you out of here? Ayami is sitting against the wall.
Thank you for the offer, but I don't think that is necessary. Have you found out anything yet?
I was investigating, but unfortunately, the recent events have made things quite difficult. Once things calm down a little bit, I will be able to continue investigating.
Father, what happened to him?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Have you reported my father what happened to Boreal?
Not yet. I can do that if you wish. I wanted to find out what you needed first.
Well, I guess I can handle that here. But Hashirama should know that it happened again. And I quite don't know how Remington will handle this. I think he's quite overwhelmed with the recent events.
She sits down at the table that's there and she begins just petting Chicken, who just sits there contently. And as she does, she nods and says, I will take my leave, if you wish. But I will see the events of this hearing, this trial. And I will converge with you later and we can discuss whatever you need to do.
Do you remember the spot I showed you?
She nods.
Can you go there and report first?
We'll do that now. She just moves out towards the door and she stops with her back towards you. And in your native tongue, rather than in common or anything like that, or in everyday, sorry, she just says, good luck. And then she disappears into the crowd and moves. Chicken hops down from the chair and does that like big dog stretch, just like this massive one, and then just sort of heads out into the crowd as well. And almost in a moment of perfect timing, Remington comes in with Curtin to unlock the door and bring you to your trial. As you make your way down the corridor, there's a few people, but it's mostly sparse, but people do move out of the way. Stories have traveled overnight about what has happened. As you enter the trial, in the front row are your compatriots. Westland looking like he has leprosy. And, Slate looking like he has leprosy, excuse me. And you make your way through and you sort of take a seat, almost like you are on trial. The school looks towards you, Hatsu. That's where we'll pick up next week. For now, though, we will jump into our post-show. We're going to take a 2-minute break here just to get some drinky drinks and whatever. Just take a break for a second.
Do a big stretch like a dog.
Just like Chicken. But we will be back to have our post-show discussion. If you guys want to know anything, of course, we will allow questions from chat. We always do. You're more than welcome. And we will pick it up from there. We have finished and wrapped our series Metagaming for now. We'll be picking it up sometime in the future. And for the moment, we're not doing Zero to Hero on Fridays. So we will be, for those of you who are watching and keeping up with us, we'll be continuing the Wandering Isles on Wednesdays, same time, same channel. And if you are on YouTube or listening to the podcast or something, thank you guys so much. We super appreciate your support. We see it every week. We get metrics from the podcast, from everybody. We just beat our follower goal. Thank you so much. The new one that was set has already been smashed. You guys are crushing it. Thank you for all the bits and subs and the hype trains. We do see it all. We don't normally respond while we're playing, but we do see it all and we super appreciate it. So for those of you with the podcast and everything and YouTube, thank you guys so much for attending. Hopefully you watch the next video or join us for the next video. Those of you in Twitch chat, we'll be back in 5 minutes to continue our post show where Beyond the Isles, where we can have a conversation and you guys can ask some questions and talk and we can wind down.
Yeah.
Check Discord for memes in the meantime.
Yes, we will actually be talking about that in the post show as well. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Whee!